What is up, super fam and bro vengers alike? I am Sensei Finito, aka Vane Sensei, and welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things Marvel and everything pop culture. And today we are going to be checking out none other than. Wait, no, we're not checking out nothing really because it's Reading Wednesday. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. It's Reading Wednesday, y'all. That's right. We are back with episode 1. This is the start of our of our Reading Wednesday book club. This is the official beginning. Last week was episode 0. We read the prologue and we just kind of got ready and got in the Mistborn and Brando Sando vibes. We got all that stuff going last week. And now this week we are starting the book, and this will be our review discussion of chapters 1 through 4. So I am excited to get it in here. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day, for real. I really enjoyed the reading this week. I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, those first 3 chapters were so, like, crazy as a beginning. It felt like I was watching an anime with those first 3 chapters, and then it felt like the 3rd chapter was like the end of an episode. It was crazy. It was just fantastic. And then that 4th chapter just comes with heat as well, and I'm like, yo, like, this book starts off and you hit the ground running, like, immediately, and I really enjoyed it. So we'll talk about it more. You guys already know. You already know we about to talk about it a lot. If y'all don't know, let me tell you, we're about to talk about it, okay? The way we do things around here for book club, for Reading Wednesday, is we start with our chat talk, is when we just talk with chat. Then we move on to our overall thoughts, and then when we do our overall thoughts, we just kind of talk about how we felt about the entirety of the reading for the week, and then we do our chapter by chapter review and discussion after that, and then we end it with, well, we usually end with book to show comparisons, because that's how our From Watcher to Reader series went, but we don't have any book to show comparisons here, so yeah, we don't do that now. But I'm pumped, man. I am really excited to talk to you guys about the first portion of Mistborn. It's episode 1, y'all. Make sure you drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. And you already know the whole spiely wheelie. And that spiely wheelie is follow us or follow me on social media at Sensei Finito to stay up to date with all my stuff. And then you can also follow us on Marvel Bros, okay? Y'all know what's happening, man. I really enjoyed this week's reading, especially coming off the heels of last week where we did the prologue, and it was just, it was amazing. So, my bad. I really enjoyed this reading. I almost just wanted to just get straight into it and talk about it, but at the same time, I think it's awesome that we're able to kind of talk with chat and get all that vibes out first and foremost, and kind of get all that discussion going. Okay, let's jump into chat and see how you guys are doing. Yo, Marisu says, it is Wednesday, my dudes. Time to talk about books. What's up, girl? How you doing, Marisu? I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Let me know if my mic sounds good. Let me know if you guys hear any popping or anything like that on your end, because I do know that it does happen sometimes. So let me know if I'm sounding silky smooth or not. Hola. Yo, what's up with this, Charisse? How you doing, girl? Okay. You pulling up. I love to see it. We would watch a Mistborn series if we had one. Yeah, this definitely needs to be an anime. Like, unequivocally, it needs to be an anime. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just recently reacted to the Lord of the Rings trailer. You guys can check that out. Oh, wait. You can actually only check out that trailer reaction if you are a Brovenger or a Brovengers or part of the Brovengers Plus around here, okay? So that trailer reaction is either out right now or it'll be out tomorrow, but it's available for Brovengers only, just so everyone knows. Brovengers and Taveran, I guess you can say. I've been trying to go back through my content and all the stuff stuff and sort out all of the Brovengers content as well, so all the Brovengers can have their own content that they're able to watch and partake in. So for the foreseeable future, not all of the content that comes out will be available unless you are a Brovenger. But that's not for everything. It's just some certain things will be like that. Certain trailer reactions, some reviews, and then I have it. Some stuff will be set up to where it comes out to members first, and then it gets released to the rest of the public later. So you guys will still have access to some of that stuff. But I definitely want to continue to give incentives to all of the amazing Brovengers that do everything to support the channel around here. And I definitely just wanted to give y'all a big shout out. So I think that a Mistborn series would be freaking crazy and incredible to jump into as an anime. Like, I think that would be freaking wild to be able to see that. And I was bringing up the Lord of the Rings trailer because I don't think a live action thing would be able to capture it the same way. Like that Lord of the the Rings of Power trailer, that came out earlier today, It was beautiful. I'm really hyped for that. I'm really hyped for season 2. I still have not finished season 1. I did get a little thrown off from it, and I think at the time I was doing something else. I don't know if we started book club. I don't know. I think it was From Watcher to Reader season 1 that had either started around that time or something like that was going on. So I just kind of fell off with the show. But that season 2 trailer that we got was awesome, and it definitely set the tone for what we can get in this season. And I think that a show like Mistborn, even the Wheel of Time, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think a lot of these books a lot of these fantasy novels, a lot of these fantasy series, a lot of these sci-fi trailers, man, I just don't feel like it works in a live action setting. Like the Expanse was amazing, right? But I don't know if that would work. I mean, it worked live action, but I meant to say I think it would work even better if it was animated. And I think that goes for this. Like, I would love to see an animated show of this. You're used to Wheel of Time books now, which have 10 chapters of table setting first. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of insane to me how fast things were going, Marisu. I was like, I'm reading and I'm like, I'm like, bro, she's already finding out. Like, it was just crazy. I could not believe reveals were happening so soon. Like, we're getting answers to certain things, getting a lot of payoff to certain terms that were just mentioned. Now we're actually getting a full-blown, glossary definition of the thing. I'm like, bro, we're not even 5 chapters in yet. This is amazing. This is actually fantastic, and I truly love it. It's a little too fast at times for certain things that I wish we could actually kind of let, mellow out a little bit. But overall, I don't really have that many complaints because the fast pacing, it's very cinematic almost, and I really appreciate that. Like, it just works. I think I'm about to say this the right way. It's a good contrast to what we just were doing with the Wheel of Time. I think that's the verbiage I was going for. Mistborn would go hard as an anime. Charisse, it would go absolutely McNupid if it was an anime. Like, it would be amazing just to see the way that they do everything, and it would be crazy. They would probably like show them like eating them, like it would just be wild, like swallowing the metal and all of that stuff. No diddy. It would just be crazy. Hi, friends. Love you all. Yo, what is up with it, Thatcher, man? I hope you're having a good day today. Definitely appreciate you being able to be here with us, man. Happy Wednesday. Mistborn would be hard as an anime. Yeah, it would be crazy. All right, W mic check. Mistborn is about the size of His Dark Materials as a trilogy. It's short enough to not be too risky to make a series. Interesting. I like that. I mean, I'm all for. I mean, look at something like a Delicious in Dungeon, right? That had 24 episodes as an anime for season 1. Like, if they could do something like that for these bigger novels, you could actually handle one book in a season of something, instead of having to split it into 2. If you have the proper amount of episodes to do said thing, you know what I mean? So, It, I think we talked about that last week or the week before or something. We talked about, novels, book to anime adaptations need to be something that happened a lot more. And I don't know if that's ever happened. I don't know. Like, can you guys give me any examples of a book to show anime adaptation? And I don't even mean manga, because I mean technically that is, that's a book for sure, but I mean like a novel to anime adaptation. Like, are there any like that, or is it only live actions? And some, I don't think there's any cartoons either, really. Mistborn in the style of Castlevania would be Chef's Kiss. That actually would be fire. That actually would be pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie, I was immediately thinking of Arcane. Like, that is the style that I saw initially, is Arcane. Like, when I hear the cosmere and all of that stuff, like, it sounds, everything like that sounds in my brain like it would look like how Arcane looks, because of just the style. Like, it's a stylistic thing, I guess. Maybe I'm tweaking, but the Castlevania vibe is a W one. Like, that Castlevania has a W art style. Speaking of art styles, real quick, I am so excited to see whatever the Eye of Wakanda show, that whatever that style will be for that animation, because they say 3D CGI, but that can mean a lot of things. It's not like you hear 3D CGI and you just automatically know what that looks like. Like, that 3D CGI can be portrayed in multiple ways. So I'm really excited to see how they choose to show that thing. I saw you said the Craven trailer was good, and I'm not sure I believe you. Well, if you watch the reaction, you'll be able to know that it was an actual W trailer. I really think that Sony needs to continue to capitalize on the R-rated vibes. I say this all the time. A lot of people forget that Sony does The Boys. And The Boys is a crazy good show. It's very gory and all that good stuff. But, they don't capitalize on what they do good enough. They don't do that enough. They do animation really well, and they do R-rated content very, very well. Like, that's what Sony excels at. That's why a lot of their games are more TVMA as well, because they just, like, they don't even make games that are PG-13 or TVM, or what is it? Rated T. You know what I mean? Like, outside of, like, Spider-Man. That's the only thing that they can get right. If it's Spider-Man, they can do it good with PG-13. Everything else needs to be rated R animated. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Craven trailer looked pretty solid, and Aaron Taylor Johnson is a W actor. I really like. I like, bruh. It was sad to see him go in the MCU so soon. I loved his rendition of Kick-Ass both times. I just loved all of that good stuff. And I want to see him be Craven the Hunter. You know what I mean? I think he can. I think he deserves to be another comic book character. I don't know if I would have chose Craven, but the way he looks in the trailer, the trailer looks better than the first trailer, and I really liked how the first trailer looked. So I'm actually excited for it. The blood, the story that they have, the new take on his abilities, all of that looks really good. Like the action was there. Who I can't think of who his dad is right now. I can't think of the actor's name, but even in the trailer that looked good. Giving him those, they introduced another new character in this most recent trailer, and that looked pretty solid. That would be amazing. So, Castlevania is amazing. I don't think I've seen season 2, but I've definitely watched season 1, and I need to watch season 2. It's a beautiful show for sure. Says, do you have Castlevania reactions on the channel? No, I don't, unfortunately. I don't even think I reacted to any of those trailers. But I can, I can do some watch parties or something for Castlevania season 2, because I'm pretty sure I've seen season 1. Also just finished watching season 2 of Blood of Zeus. Whoa, baby. Yes, anime reactions get claimed like mother. It's ridiculous, actually. It is actually ridiculous. I kind of refuse to do anime anymore, because it's just got me in a lot of hot water with YouTube. Like anime companies do not play about their content at all. Like, I gotta do TikToks TikToks are the ones that work the best for the anime stuff. Like I can't really do anything on YouTube like that because they will they'll hit you with the copyright strike and everything. They do be tripping for sure. So Japanese law is very different and more aggressive to content creators. I can say firsthand, yes, it is. I have been whopped over them things. Okay, it is not a joke. It is not a drill. And then the last little thing just to talk about, I am really, really, really hoping to do something with my book. Like, bro, y'all don't know how nervous I'd be to do stuff with my book, and I talk about it a lot, and I think I'm just gonna do it probably Friday, just kind of go live and probably either let the voiceover play, or read it. I still don't know. I don't know because I'm a little nervous Nelly when it comes to my book. I'm very shy with it and stuff, and I want to do stuff with it. I am waiting for something to come back from one of my artists before I like do the next level of things, but I'm hoping to get into that very soon. And it should be a vibe. But again, your boy is always nervous about doing any of that stuff, so I might not do it. I might just I might back out and not do anything about it. So stay tuned. But with all that being said, I think it's about good golly time that we can get into our overall thoughts for chapters 1 through 4. But before we get into it too deeply, you feel me? Let's see. Before we get into it too deeply, I got me some good water. And all. Hey, it's like dropping your kid off at their first day of school. It's hard. Hey, speaking of that, it was my daughter's first day of school today, and then of course, my oldest son, he went into the 5th grade today. Like, bro, it's crazy. Also, my daughter went into TK, and then my son went into the 5th grade today. It was awesome. After they went to school and stuff, I took them to the comic book store. I got my daughter a comic. I got my son a manga because he is a manga anime guy, as much as I am a comic, superhero guy and all that good stuff. So it was a good day. The house was so quiet and peaceful. I got so much work done. It was all awesome. You know what I mean? That was all dope. And yeah, they had a good day, and I'm happy to have my I got 2 littles as well, and my littles were chilling without their older siblings in the house being crazy, and it was a good day. Had a good time. Everybody had a good day at school. Daughter left her glasses at the school, of course. Yeah, man, it was awesome. It was awesome. They had so much. They had a good time at school today as well. They were both so happy about their friends and their classes and all that good stuff. If any of your guys' kids, just started school today, or any nieces or nephews, let me know. Shout out to all the parents and all the parents that are sending their children off to school at this time. School is back starting for everybody, and I hope you get some peace while they at school. And it doesn't suck that they don't get to go to school at night as well. I think that's something that I think we need day school. They should come home for 2 hours and go back to evening school. You know what I mean? Come home, go to sleep, go back to school in the morning. No, I'm playing, yo. I love my kids, yo. So, yeah. But yeah, man, that's all of that, yo. I hope everybody had a good day. Stuff with my book should be going soon. All that good stuff. I want to get the Discord is going to be popping. Yo, Marisu, I taught Marisu a little bit how to use the Discord, so y'all might see her in there. Maybe not. Who knows? I definitely want to jump in there as well. And yeah, yo, it'll be a vibe, yo. Yeah. Yo, what's up with the KP? How you doing, my guy? You're just in time, G. Yep, exactly. Yo, you're just in time. Oh, you all started school Monday. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why we started in the middle of the week, but we did. School doesn't start till September for you. Oh, that's a W. That's a W. I guess I'm the baby in the audience. No kids for me. I'm only 25. I mean, only being 25 doesn't really dictate whether you have kids or not. I'm 28. My son is 10 years old, so math, baby. I know things now, but I'm still slow. Old dogs meet new tricks. Hey, you did good. I have no kids either, but I know my nephew starts after Labor Day. W. Yo, it's good. It's good if y'all ain't got no kids. It's all W. Ain't no shame. I ain't attacking nobody. It's love. It's love. All right, y'all. Let's jump into it here and now. But before we do, get you some popcorn.
Hi, my name is Dominique Pruitt, and I started Don's Bomb Gourmet Popcorn LLC in the summer of 2021 to introduce delicious and unique flavored popcorn not found anywhere else in the world. Why, you ask? Because I make it in my home with love, just for you. We offer over 10 flavors and are continuously creating new flavors that can be customized to any color or taste for your next event, party, or fundraiser. So go find yourself to our website and find a bombastic flavor of popcorn at donsbombgourmetpopcorn.com, or you can also follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Don's Bomb Gourmet Popcorn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate y'all, yo. I appreciate y'all, and I hope everybody is excited to get into it today. Okay? All right. Let's get it pip, pop, plopping, and slopping, okay? Starting off with the overall thoughts for Mistborn. This is our first portion of the reading, chapters 1 through 4. Holy frijoles. This section of the reading, what a way to start the book. I mean, the prologue was awesome, and now we get this first section of the book, and it is also awesome. I really loved it. Kelsier is a menace to society in the best way possible, and Vin is such a soft yet fierce character. And I love the way that even though we don't know a lot about either of them and haven't seen them together a lot at this point, what we have seen, I love it, man. I love it so much. Vin is such a smart and just intellectual person that just zones in, zooms in, and hones in on all the little things that are going on around her. And that's just so, it's just so, like, I want to say it's very relieving to have a character, like, perceive the things that you perceive at the same time. The book, it starts off in this way to where it causes you to almost be a detective a little bit. Like, if you put the things together before the reveal happens, you feel rewarded for that small, just in these first 4 chapters. You feel rewarded for finding out what's going on before it happens. So that to be already a solid feeling, and just these first, I don't even know how many pages it was. But just in these first couple of, well, not couple, but in these first pages, it's just wild, brother. Yeah. In these first 85 pages, you're already getting such a huge connection to these different characters. And Kelsier, I like Kelsier. I like Doxson. I like the dynamic between Kelsier and Doxson as well. I think we all can agree on hating Ulef or whatever bruh's name was, bro. That was wild. I did not expect bruh to just snitch and eat immediately, yo. But all of it just it just fits. The pieces are there, and I can see how they will fit together. And I'm hoping that what I am seeing now is built upon further in the future of the story. You know, like that's something that I really want is I want this story to continue building on the things that it's already introduced to us so early on, and I believe that it will. And yeah, man, like to start it off with seeing Kelsier in the prologue basically do a terrorist attack. And then we move on to here, and we just kind of see him in the background doing things, and you're like, wait a minute, is Kelsier there, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Is that them? Like, wait a minute, is that Vin that he's looking at? And all these little things are happening, and then you find out what he's trying to do, like what all of that equals, and it's like, oh, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like, wait a minute. This just got real. It just got real. And man, the vibes are there. I love the way that we kind of are introduced to the magic system, the world, the lore, the way all of it is built upon in these first four chapters. It's kind of insane. It's a little unbelievable for me. I'm not gonna lie. But at the cost of a shit ton of information being dumped on us as the reader. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that is the caveat. Like, the caveat for all of this, extremely exceptional building that's happening early on is having all of this information also be thrown to us early on, but it works because the info dumps that we get are spread out, but the info dumps are also put into the conversation that the characters are having. So it's like it is double the info dump at times, but it's done in a way that it's narratively pleasing still, while not being too overwhelming. It is a little overwhelming, but it's one of those things like when it's just like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. All right, let me catch the rhythm. Oh, okay, let's get it, let's go. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I really appreciated all of those things that, the story goes out of its way to kind of give us an early access look to. And I feel like there's probably a lot of foreshadowing that is being done right now. I'm not going to lie, it feels like there's nothing but foreshadowing and world building happening at the same time. And character development, like it's kind of nonstop, but I like that overload. I like the overload of information, and I'm interested in knowing how the rest of this book will now flow, because there's so much information that we already have. Like, we know what's up with the Inquisitors, the Obligators. Like, we know about the Mistborns, the Mistings, the one thing we don't have too much information on is the Mist Wraiths. But there's just a lot of things happening right now, and they're all. I love it. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I love it. So I'm hoping that. And then the POV switch is also something that's very pleasing, but a little interesting at the same time, because it's not like it's like we switch POVs every chapter, but also we don't switch POVs. No, but also we switch POVs in the chapter sometimes too. So there's a lot of different things happening very quickly, and it just works, brother. I don't know why it works together so well. I want more of Vin. I want more of all of these characters, especially Doxson. I think Doxson is dope. Breeze, like Breeze is Breeze is funny. All of the characters, like I'm happy that it's also humorous. That was something that I didn't expect for it to be so comical. I don't know if that's the word to look for. I don't know if comical is the right word, but it is very humorous. It is funny. Like, it's like it's funny or it's annoying. And then there's a character for however you perceive it to be. Like, if you think it's annoying, then you're gonna probably be like Doxson, like you're gonna roll your eyes when Kelsier says something. But if you think that what Kelsier says is funny, then you're gonna laugh with him. It's like it's a very good mixture of all of the things. So, let me see. That's kind of my. I don't know if those are my only overall thoughts, but those are like my initial overall thoughts of it. It just works very well together. There's so much politics going on as well. Even within the SKAs, there's politics happening. Um, and I like that. I like it. I like it. I like it. This book is really good so far. I'm really excited to know where we're about to go, brother. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know what's about. Like, I was already baffled by things that were going on, and now we're getting like backstory for Kelsier. Like there's just so much happening, bro, and it's just fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. You got some shit together that I don't is crazy, Thatch. Oh man. Hey, yo, shout out to the niece. Kelsier is like Tyrion's personality with Jaime's body. Oh, and superpowers. Yeah, that's a really good way to put that, because that's kind of what I was kind of thinking about that a little bit, but not in that way. But the way you just put it, I like that a lot more than what I was thinking of. Yeah, he's definitely that. He's definitely Tyrion in Jaime's body with superpowers. And bro is a menace. Like, bro is a menace, though. He's way more of a menace. You know? Like, he's Kelsier, Tyrion, and Bronn. Like, Vin is like a cat. She looks small and cute, but the claws will come out if she's threatened. Ooh, okay, Charisse W. Yeah, exactly, though. And that's something that, I mean, this happens towards the end of the reading portion, but when Vin is trying to figure out why Kelsier needs her vindication, and he's like, well, you know what I mean? Like, kind of putting to ease her timidness. Like, I don't know, it just all works together very well. It all works together very well. He always felt like a reformed Joker to me. Reformed Joker is crazy. Reformed is not the right word. Reformed Joker is an oxymoron to me. Vin is Arya that grew up without money. Oh yeah. Vin is very much Arya. She is very much Arya. All of the Arya, none of the Stark. But I don't mean that in like a bad way. You know what I mean? Just the Starks be tweaking sometimes, bro. She's like Arya and Barbara Gordon in one person. But Vin is more pleasant. Yo, that's crazy. I found the Mistborn info dumps to be pretty well balanced. I like diving into those sorts of mechanics, so I get where people say it is the deep end that he drops into. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't feel like it's a bad thing that he has that he drops you into the deep end, and I don't necessarily know if he drops you into the deep end of anything. I feel like he just kind of drops you into the water, and it's if you can't swim, you're gonna sink. It's not really a asking question. It's not like, can you swim? No, it's more like a push your ass in there, and then if you can swim, then you're like, hey, this is nice. Let me swim around. Let me go down. Let me hold my breath and see how low I can get. But if you can't swim, you're like, what's going on? What's going on? Does this man have nails in his eyes? You know what I mean? Like, you get confused. You'll get confused very easily. So, you just, you gotta know what you know. Dry mouse like. No idea what you're talking about. It's a lot more down to earth compared to Wheel of Time info dumps. They just tell you things instead of discussing it in offhand remarks. Yeah, but this is a little everything, and I think that's why it's a little. I don't want to use the word jarring. I just didn't expect it because, again, I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say, but yeah, I just wasn't expecting it to be so familiar. I'll leave it at that. Viva la Revolution is crazy. Viva la Revolution! I just want to hang out with. I just want to hug Vin and tell her it will be okay. Yeah, yo, like that. Yeah, that was. Yeah, she made me sad a lot of times. I was like, damn. And then Ulif, like, yo, what's up with Ulif, bruh? Yo, fuck Ulif, man. Like, bro, I don't know what he was doing. I was not a fan of him. We'll get into it. At least you're used to handling a story with so many characters. Yeah. That a lot of characters isn't even a issue for me. I love it. It's more. It's just a lot. The only thing that was a lot was like, oh, everything is happening right now. Like, there's not a. Yeah, everything's happening right now. Like, we're in the heist right now. Like, we're doing this shit right now. Like, oh no, we're having the meeting right now. I was like, oh, like, bro, I just was like, oh, it was like, bro, every time I turned the page, the plot was progressing. And I mean, that's not a bad thing at all. I was just like, bruh, like, we are moving. Like, like, yo, like, bruh, it's like we're pre-gaming. Like, we're pre-gaming and then we get into a next thing. It was dope. It was like pre-game, party, club out, pre-game, party, club out. It's like, yeah, bruh, like, yeah. I'm like, this is pretty solid. Like, let's get I'm like, bro, what? We in chapter 4 and I already know why Kelsier got these scars on his arms. Like, bro, I'm like, yeah, G, let's keep it pushing. Like, whoa. Like, I love it. I love it. He hasn't gotten to the books with a lot of characters. That's crazy. The S name Aes Sedai. What? Yeah, the pre-heist, exactly. This is 3 books, not 14, so they gotta move. Yeah, I guess you got a good point. But it's just surprising that even though it's, like, they're moving, but I moved. Go figure. Go bloody figure. They're moving and I'm moved, man. Let me know, chat, what was your favorite chapter of this portion of the reading? What was your favorite chapter of this portion? What was your favorite chapter out of this reading portion? Gotta scroll up. There we go. There we go. Four. Yo, okay. Yeah, chapter 4 was solid. Chapter 4 was here is everything. That was really what chapter 4 was, right? It's like, hey, here are more characters. Here are yeah, and I think chapter 4 was also the longest chapter of this reading portion as well. Right? It's like, okay. It's like, all right, here's what's going on. I'm really surprised we got that already, man. I don't know why I'm so surprised that we already got that. You know? Like, man, it's crazy. Like, damn. But it's probably because the feats that they are trying to accomplish are not easy ones. They are not easy ones. You know? Like, man. Dupe. Okay. Let's put this over here. It's a table setter. Ooh, yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's definitely a table setter, yo. I'm by no means a lore master for this series. If anyone wants to suggest chapter splits, please help. I've only read it 3 times. Only read it 3 times is absolutely diabolical. Y'all are just super duper nerds, bro. Like y'all are super nerds. So am I. I've read it once. You got next week's planned? For real. All right. Did I already say let's get into the chapter by chapter review and discussion? I don't know if I said that already. If not, I'm going to say it now. Let's get into the chapter by chapter review and discussion. Starting off at the top, baby. Let's get it. Let's go. Bam.
I consider myself to be a man of principle, but what man does not? Even the cutthroat, I have noticed, considers his actions moral after a fashion. Perhaps another person, reading of my life, would name me a religious tyrant. He could call me arrogant. What is to make that man's opinion any less valid than my own? I guess it all comes down to one fact. In the end, I'm the one with the armies.
That is such a badass thing to say. In the end, I'm the one with the armies. You feel me? I'm the one who knocks. You know? Like, I'm the one who knocks type of vibe. And I love that. What a way. Again, I'm not sure what these blurbs are at the beginning of each chapter, but it's solid. I also love the way that we start off these chapters, chapter 1 and chapter 2, with Ash fell from the sky. You know, I think that is a very... It's a smart thing just in case people don't read the prologue, so they can still get the feeling of Ash falling from the sky. But two, it's definitely a solid scene setter both times around to let you know, like, Ash falls, brother. Like, this is just what happens. You know, this is what happens in this time. And we start this book off with Vin. Goodness gracious, got a gnat flying in my face. Yo, gnats are always attacking me. We start off this conversation, or at least this chapter, with Vin and finding out stuff about her brother, you know, and just finding out she's basically just been living this way for a while. And the first person that we meet with Vin is Ulef, which is kind of crazy, right? That's kind of insane to think about that goes. And, you know, it says that when you're alone, no one can betray you. And then her brother had taught her so many things and then reinforced them by doing what he'd always promised he would, by betraying her himself. So you're really setting the tone of betrayal, but she doesn't want to be alone, so she has to trust someone. But as soon as she does that, we see it blows up in her face. But to just continue on, you know, she just continues to talk about how she'll never be free. Ulef lets her know that Cayman has been looking for her. And then, you know, again, just to kind of put everything into perspective, we see her just, bow, get backhanded. We just see Cayman backhand her like, yo, where are you at? This is something, well, no, this isn't where my question was raised, so I'll just continue on. So, yeah, Cayman, it says that Cayman was basically, you know, it was obvious he was on edge. They talk about how Tresting's house was burned down and how he was murdered, which is a W. I really enjoy anything that does stuff like that. You know what I mean? Anything that calls back for to something else that has previously happened, it stands out to me in a tremendous way. I really... Hold on one second. I really, really like that. So... you know, it's one of those things. It's like using a news station in movies or something like that. It just lets you know that the world is alive. It lets you know that things are connected. It's something that everyone complains about the MCU not doing. Had to plug in my iPad. Sorry about that. But you know that, yeah, it's like, bro, why are we doing this? Not why are we doing this, but why aren't we doing this more? Just, you know, that small bit of connective tissue letting us know, you know, like, it's right there. And then we also get this sentence that Vin used up a bit of her luck. So that is kind of our first, well, outside of the prologue, that is kind of our first look at what's going on here, you know? It says she expended just a smidgen. She directed the luck at Cayman, calming his nervousness. Like, and it's just, there's not an explanation at all. And then we get an entire explanation later on. It's really beautiful. It's really quite beautiful, if like, just to be honest. It says that Cayman does an excellent job of imitating noblemen, and when it comes to playing a role, there were a few thieves who were as competent as he. And that is, again, I'm loving the way that we are building up these characters around our titular character, whoever that may be at the time. And it also raises a couple of questions for me. It was like, okay, so can everybody just own Ska? Or, you know, how does that work? Just a lot of questions there. Yeah, Yeah, and then we're introduced to another person named Theron. Theron is a creep. We see him immediately make Vin uncomfortable the way, he was just staring at her. And then this is where we get our first kind of depiction of what she looks like. It says that she wore a simple white buttoned shirt and a pair of overalls, scrawny with a youthful face. It says she was hardly enticing, even but some men preferred women like that. And it was just definitely setting it up that everyone is creeps and she is scared for her life a little bit, and she's not scared for her life because she's scared for her life, but she ain't scared. She's fighting for her life. She ain't scared for it. It's kind of one of those things. And that's just wild. It was just everything again wild right off the bat, allowing us to kind of get that inside look of what's going on in the universe in a very quick way, right? We kind of just rapid fire are exploring this world from the eyes of characters who live in it, and what better way is there to do that? And then here we get the first note of how intuitive Vin is as a thief and just as a person overall. She lets Cayman know, she's like, yo, the obligator needs to think that you're nearly impoverished. You got to pack the room with ska servants instead of having these two servants that look all good and whatnot. And then he's like, what do you know? And he's like, enough. Enough, and I'm like, bruh, enough is actually crazy and diabolical. So, and then he's like, yo, you like, wait, what did it say? What did it say? What did it say? And then he just like puts his hand on her shoulders, and he's like, "Why do you insist on provoking me? Don't you realize a less merciful man would have sold you to the whore masters a long time ago?" And I'm like, "Oh, bro, so we're in there. We are moving along with this crazy like, bro, this universe is crazy. Good God." I don't know why I keep you. I must have too kindly a heart, bro. Like, what a creep. What a freaking creepo. As he's, like, digging into her shoulders and, like, hurting her and, like, yo, like, bro. All right. Calm down. Calm down there, Harvey. You're dressed too richly. He's like, you two. And then he's immediately like, you two, you're dressed too richly. Go get some more ska and pack the room full. Like, doing exactly what she says anyway. Like, God, bruh. Like, bro was tripping. Cayman is just wild. And then we're introduced to Prelins. And the first Prelin is Prelin Laird. He is shaved bald, and as all obligators are that we find out, with ministry tattoos around his eyes that identified him as a Prelin. A senior bureaucrat in the ministry's canton of finance. A set of lesser obligators trailed behind him. Their eye tattoos far less intricate. So, again, this is something that I think really stood out to me, because I think this is kind of, attesting to what Marisu was kind of saying earlier. We would have had to wait for someone to ask what an obligatator was and why they are that way, in like the Wheel of Time or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, because we get those info dumps and world building through conversation, and he's just like, an obligator walked through. Obligators are this, like, and he kind of just gives that little textbook definition of what the thing is. It's like he says a glossary word, and then he gives that glossary definition for said word, and then he continues the story. I like that. I like that because I'm a nerd, just like you all. Doop, 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 doop. And then we see that, and then Laird and Cayman have a conversation back and forth. Then we get to see how much of a smooth talker Cayman really is and how good of a team they actually are together, even though, he's not a good person. They do work well together. Cayman is actually able to hold his own the majority of the time in the conversation, which is pretty, it's something to attest to for sure, because it's like, hey, yo, like he is doing the damn thing. But we also see that Cayman considers Vin a good luck charm, and that she wasn't, and she says that she's not sure if his, she says that, no, the book says that she wasn't sure if he knows why his plans are better when she is in the room. This is something that I'm going to circle back around to because it definitely stood out to me. But he made some type of connection because he understood that she was valuable to him. And then, yeah, we just see him and this Preelin have this conversation back and forth. He's like, yo, I'll give you an offer that you can't forget. And he actually comes with a solid plan. He's like, why would y'all use someone who doesn't really need your business when you can use someone that rely on you to keep their business afloat? I love that. I love that. I'm like, oh, wait, bruh's actually cooking. Like, bruh's plan is an actual good one. As someone who watched a lot of Leverage, you know what I mean? I can enjoy a good heist a good heist. Let's see. And then oh, yeah, and then we find out about boxings, which I guess is the currency in this land. Something called boxings. The Obligator, that's what his name is. That's what they're called. The Obligator, yo. Let's see. Yeah. Scamming, all that good stuff. Okay. The Steel Ministry was the force of bureaucracy and legal authority in the Final Empire. It was like a noble house unto itself. Steel Ministry, badass name. I don't know, like, bruh, these names are fire. Like, these names are crazy fire, and I just loved it. And then, Vin, again, she lets Cayman cook. Brooke cooks. And then it says, now Vin thought, it's my turn. Now it's my turn, Vin thought. Vin used her luck on Laird. She reached out tentatively, not even really sure what she was doing or why she could even do it. Yet her touch was instinctive. She pressed against Laird's emotions, dampening them. He became less suspicious, less afraid, docile. His worries melted away. Laird seemed slightly uncertain. Vin pushed harder. He cocked his head, opened his mouth to speak, and she pushed against him again. Perhaps an agreement can still be reached. Like, bruh, and that's the first time we see that luck be used in any type of way. Super interesting terminology centered around it, touching the power, very similar to, how they touch the one power and all that good stuff. And then pushing, pressing against his emotions, pushing, all these things. It's like, It's like, damn. Like, oh, okay. Nah, yeah. We're doing the damn thing here. You know what? I gotta open the book one more time to see something. But yeah, I believe that is the end of chapter 1. Ladies and gents, let me know how you guys felt about it in the chat. Let me know, did you like chapter 1? Did you not like chapter 1? Did you think it was a little bit too fast? Did you think it wasn't fast enough? Or do you think it was just a solid way to start the book? I'm definitely interested in knowing how all of y'all felt about it. All right. Could maybe finish part 1. It's about 80 pages. Oh, okay. Twice. 3 times, 4 times. 5 to 10 or 11. It's a pretty neat place to stop. Oh, okay. 5 to 10 or 11. I got you. Oh, yeah. I danced with Michael and Kate again at WatCon this year. Love them. Hey, that's a W. KP says 5 to 8 for next week, and then 9 to 15, 16, 26 to 34, and 35. There's only 35 chapters in this book? That's crazy. So this is the whole book right here? All right. Is that a solid way, everybody? Are we agreed upon, mods? Remember that slap from the fan film? Bruh. Bruh, Marisu. Bruh, that slap was crazy. You almost took me out just now. I low-key forgot about that. So to rethink about that, and then yeah, that's how I imagine that he slapped her too. Like he slapped the shit out of her, and it's not funny. It's not funny that he slapped her. Oh, bruh. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. That was a good one. Yeah, WKP for show, man. Definitely appreciate you. WKP for coming through with them chapters, yo. Actually, yo, KP, can you drop that in the Reading Wednesday Discord, please and thank you, sir. I appreciate you very much for that. No idea on page count. I'm not a page count type of person. I do everything by how long it takes to read anyway. I got my time calculator, audio book stuff. You know, I do all the calculations. That works. All right, WWW. I guess we are in agreement. I don't like to go over 80 pages paper. Huh? I don't like to go over 80 pages. Oh, in the paperback. I was like, what? I was like, excusez-moi. That's just me because I'm slow. Nah, you're not slow, Marisu. Gives us 6 weeks of reading and a 7th for a full book review. WKP. Yo, WK Pizzle in the chat. Yo, WK Pizzle in the chat. Let me give you some bucks, bro. Let's give bro some bucks. Add bucks at K Pizzle. KP Chandler. And let's go. We gonna go 300. Now you know what? We gonna go 500. Hopefully that should work. More WAP bias here. The way luck is used to influence emotions gives here gives heebie-jeebies because it's close to evil compulsion. I had this. Okay, I was just making sure that I wasn't tweaking because I'm like, bruh. I'm like, when she's doing it, when stuff is happening, when other bruh does it to her later on in the chapter, I'm thoroughly concerned. You know. I might have somewhat controversial views on compulsion. Do you now, Marsu? Sharice, my fat. Yo, facts. Exactly. Dark friends always do. Hey, let's get it popping. My guy KP is always very vigilant. Shout out to you, bro. Do you have a Greendale did nothing wrong? Oh. Some people keep a rabbit's foot or four-leaf clover. Cayman has a lucky 16-year-old girl. Yeah, bruh. Someone tell that boy to calm it down. LOL, no, but I can see consensual compulsion being useful. How could I be a dark friend? Me? Honestly, for therapy, I wouldn't mind being compelled in very specific ways. Beats the hell out of putting in the work to change. Marisu. You're a menace. But realistically, that would be a thing, you know? Like, if it was in our modern world, I think, though, like, if people had that ability to do stuff like that, someone would definitely try to be a therapist. Like, it's like a person in a universe. Like, if a person in our world was trying to lay low, like, think of Dexter and how he's a serial killer that works for the blood lab. That type of vibe. But someone that can compel someone working as a therapist. Kind of creepy. I mean, I think I would help people kick harmful addictions easily. True. Straight, I heard a rumor. Showing off her Jasper powers. Don't know what that means. You will not miss that boy who hurt you. Nah, Mari Sue. You need a hug? Exactly. I always love how instinctual magic users talk about what they do when they don't know what they're doing. Facts. Hey man, I appreciate how thoroughly you cover the chapters. I appreciate you, Tasarlin. How you doing, Tasarlin?
Hello there.
I hope you're having a good day. Thank you for kicking it with us. 38 chapters on a prologue. We gotta go back and watch it now. Bruh, yeah, for real. That slap was intense. Gotta run to bed. Catch up with you later. Good night. Yo, good night, Thatcher. Yo, sleep well and wake, Thatcher. You have a good one, Thatcher Watcher. I appreciate you, man. Alrighty. So, yeah, man, I really liked that first chapter. I thought it did a really good job to get us all started off and get the juices flowing, for lack of better words. So let's now get into chapter 2. I don't think these chapters have names, do they? They don't have names, do they? I don't think so. I keep having to open up the book because, nah, they don't have, there aren't chapter names. That's right. That's something that we talked about. It's just like part 1, part 2, part 3. Like, when does part 1 end? We definitely gotta, like, if anything, the parts need to be split in half. I don't know if that's what we did. Or I don't know if that's what you did, KP. Oh yeah, that's what you did. That's what you did, my guy. Because you just built different. Oh wait. No, yeah, this is what you did, because we do 5 to 8 next. Bruh, you're built different. WKP in the chat, bruh. WKP in the chat. I don't even know if it was called chapter 2. Like, I think Kramer just says 2. You know what I mean? I don't think he says chapter 2. He just says 2. All right, let's get it.
That survived the pits would instead...
Oh. What the hell is that?
If men read these words, let them know that power is a heavy burden. Seek not to be bound by its chains. The Terrace prophecies say that I will have the power to save the world. They hint, however, that I will have the power to destroy it as well.
Yo, is Brother Dragon Reborn?
2.
Yeah, did you hear him? He just said 2.
In Kelsier's opinion, the city of Luthadel, seat of the Lord Ruler, was a gloomy sight. Most of the buildings had been built from stone blocks, with tile roofs for the wealthy and simple, peaked wooden roofs for the rest. The structures were packed closely together, making them seem squat, despite the fact that they were generally 3 stories high. The tenements and shops were uniform in appearance. This was not a place to draw attention to itself, unless, of course, you were a member of the high nobility. Interspersed throughout the city were a dozen or so monolithic keeps. Intricate, with rows of spear-like spires or deep archways, these were the homes of the high nobility. In fact, they were the mark of a high noble family. Any family who could afford to build a keep and maintain a high-profile presence in Luthadel was considered to be a great house. Most of the open ground in the city was around these keeps. The patches of space amid the tenements were like clearings in a forest. The keeps themselves like solitary mounts, rising above the rest of the landscape. Black mountains. Like the rest of the city, the keeps were stained by countless years of ashfalls. Every structure in Luthadel, virtually every structure Kelsier had ever seen, had been blackened to some degree. Even the city wall, upon which Kelsier now stood, was blackened by a patina of soot. Structures were generally darkest at the top, where the ash gathered, but rainwaters and evening condensations had carried the stains over the ledges and down the walls. Like paint running down a canvas, the darkness seemed to creep down the sides of buildings in an uneven gradient. The streets, of course, were completely black. Kelsier stood waiting, scanning the city as a group of ska workers worked in the street below, clearing away the latest mounds of ash. They'd take it to the river Channeral, which ran through the center of the city, sending the piles of ash to be washed away, lest it pile up and eventually bury the city. Sometimes Kelsier wondered why the entire empire wasn't just one big mound of ash. He supposed the ash must break down into soil eventually. Yet it took a ridiculous amount of effort to keep cities and fields clear enough to be used. Fortunately, there were always enough ska to do the work. The workers below him wore simple coats and trousers, ash-stained and worn. Like the plantation workers he had left behind several weeks before, they worked with beaten-down, despondent motions.
Yo, bruh, holy hell. That is, what, 8? That was like, yeah, 6 paragraphs all about the structure and the world building and look of the city overall. I think that that is beautiful and definitely breathtaking information to have. And I just love the way it all builds up. You know what I mean? Like, it's just been all built up very methodically, you know? Like, very methodically. Like, I love that. I love the way that it's explained. That's something that I definitely struggle with within my own writing, is painting the scene, I guess. You know what I mean? Like I am very much, oh yeah, this shit is happening, but it's not oh, this is where it's happening at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not very that's something that I've been working on a lot more is trying to paint the scene, talk about what's in the room or what the people see or how the environment is before you go into said environment. This is a lot of groundwork, but it's worth it because then you are literally in the city after that point, which is something that it just really stood out to me. Uh, this is where we also find out that the city is home to a whole just hundreds of forges and refineries, and the surging of the river provided excellent locations for mills, both to grind grains and make textiles. So basically, it's just a bolsterous city of trading and creating different goods, and that's just something that's just man, I'm telling you, the world building is kind of crazy that how the way it all works together. And then it says Kelsier turned away and toward the whoa. Kelsier turned away from the sky, looking up into the distance toward the city center, where the Lord Ruler's palace loomed like some kind of massive, multi-spined insect. Credit Shaw, the hill of 1,000 spires, yo. I promise I can read. Another ashfall began as Kelsier stood contemplating the city, the flakes falling lightly down upon the streets and building. A lot of ashfalls lately. Glad for the excuse to pull up the hood on my cloak, though. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. So, a lot of ashfalls lately. Circling back to the thing that I said earlier when it's like ashfall from the sky in the prologue, and then ashfall from the sky again. Ashfalls now are basically solidified as being almost like a weather condition, which is kind of wild. This is where we're introduced to Doxin, and the rest of the final. No. This is where we're introduced to Doxin. We see what he looks like. And then we find out that in the final empire, nobility wasn't just about money. It was about lineage and history. The Lord Ruler was immortal, and he apparently still remembered the men who had supported him during the early years of his reign. The descendants of those men, no matter how poor they became, would always be favored. Whoa, brother. Whoa, like the lore is insane, bruh. Like, now we're figuring out, alright, so bruh is immortal, and he's been reigning for so long. And it's just like, he's right. Like, what? I remember those who helped me come to power thousands of years ago that's just hard, bro. The Lord Ruler sounds dope. Oh, and this is where we also find out that Kelsier is a half-blood, and how that is worse than just being a normal Ska. And Doxin finds out that Kelsier had something to do with Lord Tresting's death for sure. And then he says, "You could say that. His murder caused quite a stir among the nobility." That was kind of the intention, Kelsier said. Though, to be honest, I wasn't planning on anything quite so dramatic. It was almost more of an accident than anything else. Doxin raised an eyebrow. How do you accidentally kill a nobleman in his own mansion? With a knife to a chest. With a knife to the chest, bro. With a knife to the chest. Quick, bro, that's it. It's actually quite simple. Doxin rolled his eyes. Oh, man. And then Brett drops foolhardy. And Kelsier was just like, what? Let's see. Oh, and then we have our first mention of Breeze and Ham around this as well. And then Doxin, we have the whole How did you? Oh, that's right. You're a misting. Forgot. You know, we have one of those little moments just to kind of remind us of what's going on there. We find out Breeze and Ham are going to be there. And then Trap is dead. You know, the ministry finally caught up to him. And then we get this. Again, I feel like this is some foreshadowing, baby. But it says the Steel Ministry caught up with everyone eventually. And it's like, damn, well. You know, and then we get name drops for the rest of the crew, and we find out that Kelsier has a brother. His brother never approved of, you know, any of the stuff that they're doing as being, you know, thieves and terrorists. So he won't have anything to do with Yeadon and the rebellion anymore. So I believe this is, you know, our second hint of the rebellion and kind of what's going on, as well as that name drop for Yeadon, who is a part of this rebellion, because we haven't, up until this point, we really haven't met any members of the rebellion, and we still haven't, but it's just a name drop for someone who is in it. And then after that, we basically just POV switch back to Vin. And again, we are just put in basically we are put into the, what's the word I'm looking for? We're put into the seat of sheer terror yet again, just in a very small, offhanded way, because Vin's just like, yo, she kept to the shadows as usual, because the more she stayed out of sight, the more the others would ignore her. She couldn't afford to expend luck keeping the men's hands off her. She'd barely had time to regenerate what she'd used a few days before during the meeting with the obligator. Right? So this tells us multiple things. It tells us one thing, that up until this point, she believes that she regenerates her luck naturally. She doesn't understand that there is a way to regenerate said thing. Two is that the men there are nasty. And it's very possible that she has been assaulted here before, which is not. That's just very sad. I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared for that. And then, of course, the floor is darkened by ash. We find out, you know, Kamen is basically exploiting everybody that works for him. And then we also find out that Reen, her brother who betrayed her, basically is the one that kept her alive. And the other crew, and he kept all the other crewmates away from Vin. And then we also find out there's not a lot of women in these crews. So the women who do get involved in the underworld end up being, well, to put it lightly, whores. They become whores. So it was just, that was just a lot to find. It was just like, damn. I think that's another thing. It was like we were finding out a lot of information, and a lot of that information was heavy. You know? It's like a lot of that information is like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Damn. I'm like, Jesus, this world, bruv, is crazy. I'm like, poor Vin. Like, we have to protect Vin at all costs. Yeah, and she's like, yo, I can't even believe that my life would have got worse could get worse without Reen, but it does. And then I love the way that we kind of hear Reen's different lessons that he taught to Vin over the years kind of be echoing within her head. Very similar to how our boy Rand was always asking about who his daddy really was. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that, but instead it's just the echoes of her brother teaching her these lessons to keep her safe, so he didn't have to. Basically, that's really what it is. He was teaching her all of the lessons he needed to, so he could just dip on up out of there. Which is, again, just, man, super sad. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah, so we find out also that Kamen is retaining all of the wages from the jobs that she does to pay the debts Reen had left behind. And I'm like, okay, so are all Skas just slaves to anyone who is not a Ska, or are Skas just slaves to anyone who is a nobleman, or like what? do, do, do. And then I like this. I liked it. I really love this the ending of this POV right here. Cayman stood up. He reached into his vest pocket and pulled out his golden pocket watch. He nodded to one of his companions. Then he scanned the room, searching for her. His eyes locked on Vin. It's time. Vin frowned. Time for what? Like, bruh. Oh, well, that's not a POV switch. It's a scene switch. Excuse me. Again, another thing that I like here is there are scenes happening. I think that's the thing that I like the most is that there are scenes going on. Like, it's not like, oh, well, they walked to this place and then they went down the streets and walked through the street and went to the place and opened the door and walked into the door after they walked down the street and crossed the street and then went through the alley. You know, it's not like that. It's like, come with me. We're at the place. They walk through the doors. We handle the thing. We go back to the place. You know what I mean? It's like moving. I think that's really the thing that I think is the most, not jarring. Again, I don't want to say it's jarring, but it makes things happen in a faster fashion because we're not seeing every step of the process, right? Like, I feel like in the Wheel of Time, the only time we really don't see someone travel somewhere is if when we go to another perspective of someone who isn't with that person that's traveling. You know what I mean? Other than that, we're on that. Like, the journey is the book. Like, the journey, it's like, nah, bro, we're going with them to the bank. And then we go with them to the, you know, like, we're going to all of the places. And again, I don't think either of those things, I don't think one is bad and I don't think the other is bad. I kind of like both of them. And I think I would kind of do both in my own writing, possibly determined on. What? I just forgot how to word. Well, all right. Anyway, my whole brain just stopped working. Okay. So now we're back at the ministry's canton of finance. So they're there. Vin is like, what the hell are we doing here? As Cayman goes, like, before Cayman goes into the building, Vin could sense his apprehension, which I think is a subtle way of letting us know that her luck allows her to feel other people's emotions. She can literally, like, it's not like she's just very observant, you know, and it's like, oh, she could sense that something was wrong. No. Her luck ability is, it's like her luck ability is the reason why she can sense that apprehension from Cayman. And I love that. And I think, for me, if that's what's going on, that goes to question, is this kind of like a telepath type of thing, where they have to learn not to catch on to every single emotion that is happening around them if they're too powerful? Or is this something where, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's immediately where my brain starts to go. I'm like, bro, okay, so if she's in the area of other, you know, of just 50 people around her, are all of the emotions sinking to her very loudly, or does it only happen if she consumes a larger amount of the thing, you know? I'll save my questions for the end. So they enter the ministry office and they put themselves in the power of the obligator. They're terrified about this as well. I think it was awesome to see how terrified Vin is, and even how terrified what the hell is dude's name? Cayman was as well. Like, Cayman isn't even, it's not like he's just good. He's like, bruh. You know what I mean? It's like, bruh, what, like, what's happening here? Vin's trying to figure out what's going on, and then she figures this out. She's like, he's nervous. He's more nervous than before. And he's like, once we get in, you will say nothing, Cayman says. And then she's like, here we go. You're betraying Theron? Vin whispered. Cayman nodded. But how? Why? Theron's plan was complex in execution, but simple in concept. Every year, the ministry transferred its new acolyte obligators from a northern training facility south to Luthadel for final instruction. Theron had discovered, however, that those acolytes and their overseers brought down with them large amounts of ministry funds, disguised as baggage, to be strongholded in Luthadel. Crazy that that's not anyone saying that. I don't know why that seems so wild to me, but it's just like we're getting just info dumped, and I just love it, bro. I love it. I feel so spoiled. I feel a little spoiled right now. I'm like, I don't have to find any of it. Like, I don't have to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to figure this out myself. The narrator is telling me what the hell is happening right now. Banditry was very difficult in the Final Empire, with the constant patrols along canal routes. However, if one were running the very canal boats that the acolytes were sailing upon, a robbery could become possible. Arranged at just the right time, the guards turning on their passengers, a man could make quite a profit, then blame it on banditry. Theron's crew is weak, Cayman said quietly. He expended too many resources on this job. But the return he'll make will never happen if I take what I can now, then run. Cayman is a menace. He is a menace, bro. And I kind of like bro because he's a like honest thieves. I appreciate him. I appreciate an honest, dishonest thief. You know what I mean? It's like he's a terrible person, but he's telling Vin the truth. You know, he's like, nah, yeah, I'm gonna betray him. I'm gonna run off with the money. The whole he's teaching her how to be a good thief, also in his own messed up way. It's kind of like the relationship between Cayman and Vin in a very messed up way is like the relationship between, is brother's name Jack? Jack and the Cyborg, basically, in Treasure Planet. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's one of those things. Just without all of the actual, relationship development as characters between the two of them that happened in Treasure Planet. That doesn't happen here. Bro said, we'll never know because we'll never know if I could take what I can now and run. I'll talk to the obligators into a down payment to get my caravan boats afloat. Like, bruh has a whole... He is a menace, bruh. He is a menace. The betrayal, yo. Another thing that Vin tells us early on that she's not a fan of, right? Is this betrayal, you know? It's insane. Theron was a fool to bring Cayman into this, she thought. He probably assumed that Cayman's greed would keep him honest until Theron could double-cross Cayman, which is hilarious because they're all thieves, so they're just all trying to one-up each other in whatever way they can. Vin's stomach twisted. It's just another betrayal. Why does it still bother me so? I just love that we're getting to see what type of person, Vin is, and just really setting the tone. Oh, and then this was amazing, right? So the man who waited inside was not Prelin Laird. Cayman paused in the doorway. The obligator who waited for them had some of the most intricate tattoos around his eyes that Vin had ever seen. She wasn't even certain what rank they implied. He wore gray robes, but he was very different from the stern, bureaucratic men Cayman had dealt with before. This man was lean in a muscular way, and his clean shaven, triangular head gave him almost a predatory look. Like, yo. And then we find out that this is High Prelin Ariev. I think it was Ariev, head of the board that was reviewing their proposal. And then we have an amazing discussion yet again between them. I just like Cayman so much, man. Like, I like Cayman. I don't like Cayman. I'm sorry. Like, I don't like him. He sucks. But I like him because he's a very good talker. He reminds me of Bronn from Game of Thrones. Like, he's gonna get his way. He's a but he also sucks. Like, bro, this dude sucks. You know what I mean? And Bronn kind of, he sucked as well, to be completely honest. Bruh. This gnat is straight banging on me right now. Let's see. Oh. And everybody, like, Vin could see that Cayman was considering running, like, all of this stuff. And he's like, nah, I'm going for it. And then he just goes for it and he starts talking to him. And then and then the obligator is like, convince me, Lord Jadu, and you will have your contract. And I just love that part. And then this is another good part that I really liked. I didn't write any of the stuff down, so that's the only reason why we're not able to listen to some of these parts. I'll try to do better next week. We are your best choice, Your Grace, Cayman said. You fear that my house will suffer economic failure? Well, if it does, what have you lost? At worst, my narrow boats would stop running, and you would have to find other merchants to deal with. Yet, if your patronage is enough to maintain my house, then you have found yourself an invaluable long-term contract. Like, bro is cooking. It's not about the money, Your Grace. It's about victory, the showing of confidence that we would gain by having the ministry contact. If you trust us, others will too. I need your support. Like, whoa, buddy. Bro is really cooking. Like, I would have gave him the contract. I'd have been like, all right, bro, bet. You got it. I believe you, Cayman. Or I believe you, Lord Jadu. The obligator waited quietly. Oh, shit. The obligator waited quietly, it says, right? Wait. I lost my spot. Oh, if he suspected that they were scamming him, that he could destroy them. Vin reached out and used her luck on the obligator, making him less suspicious. Ariev smiled. Yo. Like, like, bro, what are we like, yo, immediately I was like, okay, bruh, he's on to them. He knows what's going on. And then he's like, all right, see the scribe in the main hallway to finish everything. And then she's like, something is wrong. Something's very wrong. Looking back at the obligator, he was still smiling. A happy obligator was always a bad sign. And of course, we find out that she would be correct. Then we switch to Kelsier's point of view. Love the way that they just see this. The fat thief and his scrawny attendant pass through the waiting room. And you're like, okay, we were definitely just with a fat thief and his scrawny attendant. And then Dachshund is like, talking. He's like, yo, what do you think about the girl? And then, boom, the two crossed through the entry chamber, passing the overweight crew leader. I'm like, bruh, it's him. You know what I mean? I'm like, bruh, it's him. And I think it's put out smoothly enough that you don't know right off the bat. And then you can't forget about Kelsier munching contentedly on his cakes. Hey, yo, right? Cayman, and then we find out that Cayman tried to swindle Marsh a few months ago, and he brought the girl with him then too. Cayman's little good luck charm is becoming moderately famous in the right circles. You know how superstitious thieves can get. They don't really know what she is. Like, again, crack cocaine as how good it is, bro. Like, I'm addicted. I'm like, oh shit, they know about her and her luck. Why do they want her and her luck? You know, and it's like, oh shit. And it's like, oh, why are they looking for her? What does that have to do with anything? And then Kelsier's like, I'll have to come up with something particularly suitable to do to that man, because he sees that she's been beaten on him, that he's been beaten on her. And then Dachshund says, poor thing, she'll be free of him soon enough. And then Kelsier confirms she's at least a misting. And if Marsh says she's more, I'm inclined to believe him. I'm a bit surprised to see her using allomancy on a member of the ministry, especially inside a Canton building. She probably doesn't know that she's even using her abilities. And I'm like, bruh, what? Is that possible? Literally, my question. Trace minerals in the water can be burned, if just for a tiny bit of power. That's one of the reasons the Lord Ruler built this city here. Lots of metals in the ground. Yo, we're cooking. This is literally built like an anime, and I love it. And the same way that Vin was like, something was wrong, now Kelsier goes, something is wrong. Outside, they see that a man with a strong build that had thick metal spikes pounded tip first through each of his eyes, with shafts as wide as an eye socket. The nail-like spikes were long enough that they're sharp. Yo, Marisu. Marisu. I looked up, I glanced up at that exact moment, and I just read that. That shit caught me all the way off guard. You're a menace, yo. You are a menace, Marisu. Oh, man, that's crazy. Oh, shit. That was wild. What was I saying? Okay. The obligator stepped out of the building, and a second man exited behind him. Beside Kelsier, Dachshund suddenly grew stiff. The second man was tall, with a strong build. As he turned, Kelsier was able to see that a thick metal spike had been pounded tip first through each of the man's eyes. Their sharp points jutted out about an inch from the back of the man's clean-shaven skull. And the metal bits had shafts as wide as an eye socket. The nail-like spikes were long through the head, and the flat end of the spike shone like two silvery discs sticking out of the socket in the front where the eyes would have been. And this is a steel Inquisitor. Like all Inquisitors, he wore intricate eye tattoos, mostly black, with one stark red line. That marked him as a high-ranking member of the Canton of Inquisition. He's not here for us. He's here for the girl. Dun, dun, dun. And then we hear how they say, and this is something that I really like, Kelsier says that the thieves fight the Empire in their own way. I'm not about to let a Mistborn slip away from us. I want to talk to that girl. And then, again, like, Kelsier pulls out a collection of metal flakes floating in an alcohol solution. Iron, steel, tin, pewter, copper, bronze, zinc, and brass. The 8 basic allomantic metals. Crazy. Like crazy. He pulled the top, down the contents in one swift gulp. Kelsier smiled. Then, burning zinc, he reached out and yanked firmly on the Inquisitor's emotions. The creature froze in place, then spun, looking toward the Canton building. Let's have a chase now, you and I, Kelsier thought. I wrote in the margin, this shit is gas! Because this shit is gas. Because this shit is gas. And that is the end of chapter 2, bro. I love it, bro. Like, that was fire. Like, holy. Like, bruh. Like, bruh, let's go. So, chat, how are we feeling about chapter 2? Did you like it? Did you not like it? There we go. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Like, this shit is crazy. I just can't believe it, y'all. I can't believe it. Has Sensei never seen or watched Twilight? Hail to the no. I have not seen, no. I have not. No, sir. Remy loves them, though. Me? Never seen them. I didn't know you, oh, yo, what's up with it? Did I already say what's up to Sarlin? Yeah, I did say what's up with Sarlin. Sometimes I sound like English ain't my first language. I'm hardly one to talk. Have we covered the initial premise Brando had when writing this book? No, but wasn't it like My Fair Lady meets Ocean's 13, if I'm not mistaken? Yo, what's up with it, Adam Jackson? Yo, Action Jackson. What's up with it, Adam? How you doing, man? Hope you're having a good day. Timelines, facts. It has been several weeks since the prologue, which is a pretty solid, that's a pretty solid timeline way. I think I like the way that he dropped that timeline. Again, dropped the timeline out of conversation. I don't know if anybody has ever watched Hunter x Hunter, the anime, also called by some people Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is freaking fire, and that is the vibe that I get from Brandon Sanderson. Like, the narrator talks in the anime and like gives you context for information about things periodically throughout the anime, and that is the vibe that I would get 100% from this. Like, it just kind of plays out, and then you just kind of hear a voiceover like, yeah, this is what's going on. Yeah, so dreary. An actual god king, which is wild. Like, whoa. You think he's actually immortal, or is this more of a Wizard of Oz situation? That is a really good point. Not gonna lie, that's a really good point. It may be you know what? It may be one of those situations, but it sounds a little too tangible for it to be that. Like Kelsier has tussled with the Lord Ruler. Like people know of the Lord Ruler. Like, but it also is like they're saying, well, it's said that the Lord Ruler is invincible and he's been around for years and all this other stuff. So it could be a Wizard of Oz situation, but I just don't think that's what's happening. I feel like I feel like the Lord of the Ruler is possibly really immortal, and if he's not fully immortal, he does have the ability to be alive. Because you can be alive for 1,000 years and not be immortal. That is very possible. And he might be like, yeah, I have some theories already about what's going on there. Found your Mistborn stream last week and loved it. I've read most of the Cosmere, but I always love going on the ride with new readers. Yo, well, welcome in to Sarah Lynn. I didn't mean for that to rhyme so good, but it just did. I hope you liked the book. I hope you enjoy our reading Mistborn Reading Wednesday series here, and I hope to see you back again and again and again for the foreseeable future. I appreciate you. Are you excited for Stormlight 5 later this year? I am. I've decided to not read chapters being released right now. I want to go in blind when it is released. Oh, he's releasing chapters right now? I don't even know. Samesies. Honestly, there are so many exciting things happening around the Cosmere right now, it's kind of overwhelming. Ooh. Vin is in a very vulnerable position. Yeah, it's very sad. Very disposable in the worst way. Facts. Fast travel enabled. He's focused on the story and not the mechanics of travel and time. Yeah, unless it serves a purpose. Makes sense. RJ would flood us with extraneous information so we wouldn't know what was important. It turned readers into crime investigators, cataloging every detail. Good God. Does Sensei trust his narrator? I have a narrator? Or do you mean do I trust the narrator in the show in the book? I mean, I kind of trust the narrator. In these first 4 chapters, yes. I don't think that the narrator has necessarily said anything wrong. The narrator is very much the watcher in this series, which is something that, I'm okay with. That's actually what I prefer, is the watcher. Does anyone know if Brandon played Final Fantasy? The world building makes me think of some of the games sometimes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said in one of the interviews that he played Final Fantasy, and I think he said he liked that one. I'm pretty sure he said, I know he's talking about Elden Ring a lot, and another game that he was talking about that he played, which I think was not Skyrim. I think it was Elden Ring. Maybe it was Elden Ring, Final Fantasy, and another one that's just slipping my mind right now. It's really nice to just be given information and it's not done in a boring way. I agree. It's funny because these characters trust each other less but tell each other more. Yeah. Yes. That is so. Yes. Exactly. It's so weird. Not used to such open communication. Facts. I can see the similarities of Treasure Planet. I love me some Treasure Planet, yo. I'm about to rewrite that book. Like, that's how much I love that. I'm about to write that story right now. You know what I mean? Not talking to each other is just a boomer thing. Nothing to do with trust, I think. That's funny. Referring to RJ's writing, that is. I feel you. When knowledge is a weapon, you keep yourself armed when others don't have it. Spit that shit, KP. What the hell? Spit that shit. That was hard. But you just come up with that right now, or is that from a book? Because that shit was hard. Bruh. When knowledge is a weapon, you keep yourself armed when others don't have it. Biggie Smalls. No, I'm just playing. Whew. Yo. That gnat almost flew into my nose. I imagine the actor that plays Victor Zaslav in Gotham for this obligator. That's crazy. Obligator. Victor Zaz. Yeah, I got you. Zaslav is crazy. That's a Freudian slip. Yo, that was crazy. I got it early. Those 5 a.m. alarms come early. I'll double check my splits and put them in Discord tomorrow. Hey, appreciate you, KP. Sleep well and wake, my brother. Yo, you have a good night. And on everybody that's watching on the replay, I appreciate y'all, and I hope y'all having a good day, evening, morning, night, whatever time it may be, wherever in the world you may be. What's happening? I'll never be able to run for office with the things I've said. Very true. Yeah, that Flint, Michigan water is actually diabolical. Yeah, I'm putting together a team as ending. Brandon Sando be definitely cooking. I can see the whole book as an anime or a movie in my head, so it's so well written. Yeah, it's crazy. Those last lines of chapter 2 are so exciting. Yes, it's like, let's go. The 8 basic elementic metals bothers me from a science perspective. Brass is copper and zinc, and bronze is copper and zinc. It should dissolve into those basic metals in acid. The 8 basic metals bother me from a science perspective. Brass is copper and zinc. And bronze is copper and zinc. It should dissolve into those basic metals in acid. I think it would still dissolve into those basic metals in acid, and I think that's why he's keeping them in alcohol instead. And I think even though those things have those things, it still makes them something different. Right? My Fair Lady in Ocean's 11 is how he describes the story. Okay. I think I said Ocean's 13. But the premise was, what if the evil Dark Lord won and runs the world? Yeah, exactly. I saw that in his interview. No, in his what is that shit called? Oh, his bro, I am drawing a blank right now. In his classes that he did for BYU, he talked about a lot of stuff because I watched those seminars. That's the word. I watched those seminars multiple times over the years, like multiple times. And yeah, that's that. Yeah, I heard him say that. Haven't seen any of those movies though, so it doesn't mean anything to me. Unfortunately, I've never seen any of the Ocean's movies, and I've definitely never seen My Fair Lady. So yeah, that doesn't really mean nothing to me. But I know that is what he said that it is. And then the other premise of what if the evil Dark Lord won is the thing that I love. That's what really got me, because I'm like, bro, what does that mean, bro? The original premise is what hooked me, for real. Like, that premise is crazy. The magical elements are very tangible. It doesn't come off as folklore. Oh, that's very true. That is very true. I think it's funny he was thinking, man, these Dark Lords always get beat by some random child, but this time, how about no? Yeah, that's pretty hilarious. I actually want to read the story of how the Dark Lord wins. I hope that gets told at some time. Dark Lord wins. Now what? Biologically immortal just means you won't die of aging or disease. You can still be killed. Just pointing out there's different notions of immortality. And that is exactly the split that I was talking about, is being biologically immortal, not what the hell? What's the other thing? It's not physically, but it's like, you know, you can never die. Like ever. You can never die or you can never be killed. Like those are two different things, you know? You can never die, you can never be killed, or you can never be killed or die, you know? Like those are all three separate types of things going on there. Maybe it was Morrowind. I thought immortal means you can't die, but everlasting life means you won't die naturally. I think that those things could be said to be the same thing, and I feel like someone would be like semantics. You know what I mean? I think that the argument for that could be semantics for someone, especially in this era of when he's been alive for thousands of years. People would just think that his everlasting life is immortality. But I feel like those are the two. I think those are two sides of the same coin as well. Because who is like that? Someone was immortal, and it was like every time they died, they got resurrected. Then there was another immortal where you just can't die at all, no matter what. And then there's the other immortal that we were talking about, where you can't die naturally and you don't age. Like, all of those are different forms of immortality. At least from a narrative perspective. But yeah, yo, that's chapter 2. And now, let's go into 3. Ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into 3.
We arrived in Terrace earlier this week, and I have to say, I find the countryside beautiful. The great mountains to the north, with their bold snow-caps and forested mantles, stand like watchful gods over this land of green fertility. My own lands to the south are mostly flat. I think that they might look less dreary if there were a few mountains to vary the terrain. The people here are mostly herdsmen, though timber harvesters and farmers are not uncommon. It is a pastoral land, certainly. It seems odd that a place so remarkably agrarian could have produced the prophecies and theologies upon which the entire world now relies. 3. Cayman counted his coins, dropping the golden boxings one by one into the small chest on his table. He still looked a bit stunned, as well he should have. 3,000 boxings was a fabulous amount of money, far more than Cayman would earn in even a very good year. His closest cronies sat at the table with him, ale and laughter flowing freely. Vin sat in her corner, trying to understand her feelings of dread. 3,000 boxings. The ministry should never have let such a sum go so quickly. Perlin Ariev had seemed too cunning to be fooled with ease. Cayman dropped another coin into the chest. Vin couldn't decide if he was being foolish or clever by making such a display of wealth. Underworld crews worked under a strict agreement. Everyone received a cut of earnings in proportion to their status in the group. While it was sometimes tempting to kill the crew leader and take his money for yourself, a successful leader created more wealth for everyone. Kill him prematurely and you would cut off future earnings, not to mention earn the wrath of the other crew members. Still, 3,000 boxings. That would be enough to tempt even the most logical thief. It was all wrong. I have to get out of here, Vin decided. get away from Cayman in the lair in case something happens. And yet, leave? By herself? She'd never been alone before. She'd always had Reen. He'd been the one to lead her from city to city, joining different thieving crews. She loved solitude, but the thought of being by herself out in the city horrified her. That was why she'd never run away from Reen. That was why she'd stayed with Cayman. She couldn't go, but she had to. She looked up from her corner, scanning the room. There weren't many people in the crew for whom she felt any sort of attachment. Yet there were a couple that she would be sorry to see hurt should the obligators actually move against the crew. A few men who hadn't tried to abuse her, or, in very rare cases, who had actually shown her some measure of kindness.
Damn. And who was on the top of that list?
Yulef was at the top of that list. He wasn't a friend, but he was the closest thing she had now that Reen was gone.
And what did that punk-ass man Yulef done snitched? I was hot. I was like, bruh. Yulef was like, hey, what's happening? You want me to go where with you? And she was like, not like that. And bro was like, oh, so you not gonna give me nothing? All right, bet. You stay right there. I'll be right back. Like, bruh. And then he immediately went and told. Like, and again, we also get that hint at how much SA is really going on. She's like, yo, none of the, like, the dudes that didn't abuse her, like, whoa, so she's definitely been abused before, like, 100%. Like, and the rare people that are actually nice to her, like, damn, they doing her so dirty. And then when she goes to get all of her belongings, she's like, she has an earring that she's never worn out of fear that the ornamentation would make her look more feminine. Like, damn, bro, what the hell is going on? But once she finally comes back out with all of her stuff and her belongings, she says Yulef wasn't where she left him. Instead, he stood furtively near the front of the room, near the bar, near Cayman. And then this man Heyman freaking throws a wooden stool at her, bro, as she tries to run and knocks her to the ground. And then he just starts whooping her ass. And then Cayman's like, that backstabbing brother of yours never respected me, and you're the same. I was too easy on you both. I should have. Margin. Here, you know what my margin was? My margin was, fuck you, Yulef. Like, that was my margin. Because, bro, why did you just completely sell her like that? Vin tried to twist free, but Cayman's grip was firm. She searched desperately for aid from the other crew members. However, she knew what she would find. Indifference. They turned away, their faces embarrassed, but not concerned. Yulef still stood near Cayman's table, looking down guiltily. And then again she hears her brother's voice. Fool! Ruthlessness, it's the most logical of emotions. You don't have any friends in the underworld. You'll never have any friends in the underworld. Like, damn. And then she's like, he won't kill me, he needs me. And then she turned weakly and saw that Cayman was looming above her in a drunken fury. This time would be different. There was murder in his eyes. Woo! Like, bruh. She turned towards the door desperately. She was close, painfully close, just a little farther. And then a tall and hawk-faced man with light blonde hair who wore a relaxed nobleman's suit walked into the room. And he looked very, very angry. Cayman's angry demands were cut off as he was thrown backwards as if he had been punched by a powerful force. Suddenly, Vin felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The emotions slammed into her like a sudden weight. Her emotions squished silent as if crushed by a forceful hand. Her fear puffed out like an extinguished candle. And even her pain seemed unimportant. Her emotions didn't match the logic. She felt serene, unworried, and more than a little bit curious. She stood up, pausing as she faced the trap door, breathing heavily, still dazed. Someone had just used luck on her. The newcomer still stood in the doorway, studied her with a critical eye, then smiled in a disarming sort of way. He's using luck on all of them. How can he do it to so many at once? Vin had never been able to store up enough luck to do more than give the occasional brief push. Like, yo, all of that fire right there. All of it was just insane, bro. It's just like, wow. Like, wow. Wow. Just so much information given. Like, and again, we don't know if this is our guy Kelsier just yet. But it's like, oh shit. He just pulled up. And then Cayman is like, Cayman shows that he knows who these people are. And then Cayman groans and he's like, Master Doxson, what a surprise. Vin frowned, realizing that there was a sense of familiarity between these men. And then she recognized them from somewhere. The Canton of Finance. They were sitting in the waiting room when Cayman and I left. My margin, keen fucking eye. You know what I mean? Like her, she's just W. She's a W. And then Cayman climbed to his feet, studying the blonde newcomer. Cayman looked down at the man's hands, both of which were lined with strange overlapping scars. WA to just introduce this man. They introduced bro like he was Appa in Avatar The Last Airbender. By the Lord Ruler, Cayman whispered, the survivor of Hathsin. Master Kelsier, this is a rare honor. Margin. W crossover. The rest of you know who I am? Kelsier asks everybody. Margin. Bro is infamous. Like, what's going on? Kelsier proceeds to let everyone know that he stopped the people that were looking for them. And then he was like, he's saying that there's an inquisitor that was following them. And then he says, I dealt with the inquisitor, Kelsier said. He paused, letting the implication hang in the air. 1 out of 10, how do you guys feel about that sentence? I just need to know how we feel about letting the implication hang in the air. I don't know how you guys feel about stuff like that in writing. I know some people hate it when people say like that, and because people would rather it be like, he paused. The people around the room stared at each other in disbelief at what was implied, or something like that. You know what I don't know. Finally, Malev, the dark-skinned man, who was came in second, scooped up the coffer of the ministry boxings and dashed forward with it. Bro was ready to give it over. And then Kelsier's like, hey, yo, deal with him. You're a resourceful man, Miliv. He says after all of the other stuff. And Bruh says, I've had dealings with mistings before, Master Kelsier. Just solidifying yet again that these mistings and all of this stuff that's going on is a predominant thing that happens in this world. It's not something that's very unseen, I guess you can say. It's known. It's known. It's not as much of a myth. Actually, Kelsier is more of a myth than mistings. And then Kelsier's like, yo, take your men, including your former leader, and leave. I want to have a private conversation with Mistress Vin. He already knows her name. I'm like, bruh, what is going on? Like, bruh knows everything already. You know? But again, we gotta circle back to the brother knowing who she was and who Cayman was, and then how Vin has already been getting a name for herself in certain circles. Like, damn. Crazy. Kelsier was a powerful man, and instinct told Vin that powerful men were dangerous. Did he know her? Did he know of her luck? Of course. What other reason would he have for singling her out? And then she gets this thought immediately. And the thought is, how is this Kelsier going to try and use me? And it's like, damn, bro. Just bringing again to the forefront how much is, like, she just know, like, in her heart, she feels that there is no reason for anyone to show any kindness outside of them needing to use her for something. Heartbreaking. Oh. And then Kelsier. Then Vin is like, Vin is actively trying to find out what Kelsier knows, and that's one of the only reasons why she's staying there. And then we see that Kelsier's smile deepens, and then he finally laughs. That was far too much fun, Docs, he told them. Again, my margin was, bro is EVIL LMAO, because that's hilarious how he just finessed the entire room. And then Doxson is like, you were insufferable enough before. I don't know how I'm going to handle this new reputation of yours. And it's like, bruh, yeah, it's going to be pretty hilarious to have that person have that type of, have that type of, like that type of stuff on him. Like, it was just crazy. Oh, snap. Missed out on hella comments for some reason. That was wild. We find out that they're a little bougie. Talking about, I have socks worth more than this wine. Like, bro, that's cold. And then this is something that I liked right here. Ven stood quietly. She could act weak the way she had with Cayman, but instincts told her that these men wouldn't respond well to that tactic. So she remained where she was, assessing the situation. The calmness fell upon her again. It encouraged her to be at ease, to be trusting, to simply do as the men were suggesting. No! She stayed where she was. Kelsier raised an eyebrow. That's unexpected. My margin. Bro is playing mind games. Like, what? Like, well, what is going on? Like, bro is a straight mind game player. And then he's like, what do you want to drink? She's like, ale. He's like, ale? That's it? I like it. We'll have to work on that. I love it. Already the dynamic between them is starting off as a pretty strong one. And then Kelsier introduces himself to Vin. He's like, I'm what you might call a crew leader. But I run a crew that isn't like any you've probably known. Along this crew, people like to think of themselves as predators. Not predators, she says, scavengers. One would have thought that so close to the Lord Ruler, such things as thieving crews would not be able to exist. But where power and riches existed, so did corruption, especially since the Lord Ruler tended to police his nobility far less than he did the Ska. It had to do, apparently, with his fondness for their ancestors. And I put the fact that he remembered who helped him is insane. Kelsier says, well, Dox and I were scavengers too. Just a higher quality of scavenger. We're more well-bred and you might say, or just, or perhaps just more ambitious. And then he's like, and then she says, you're noblemen. Kelsier says, not full-blooded ones. Half-breeds aren't supposed to exist, Vin said carefully. The ministry hunts them down. Kelsier raised an eyebrow. Half-breeds like you? Vin felt the shock. How? Vin paused thoughtfully. Malev called you mistings? Those are some kind of allomancer, right? Doxson glanced at Kelsier. She's observant, the shorter man said with an appreciative nod. Observant as hell, bro. She's hella observant. You gotta watch her. Here we go. Allomancy, the mystical power held by the nobility, granted to them by the Lord Ruler some 1,000 years before, was a reward for their loyalty. It was basic ministry doctrine. Even a Ska like Vin knew that much. The nobility had allomancy and privilege because of their ancestors. The Ska were punished for the same reason. One misting was said to be dangerous enough to kill an entire thieving team. She'd never paused to consider the possibility that her luck might be the same thing as allomancy, which is insane. And then Kelsier tells her to never use her emotional allomancy on an obligator. They're all trained to recognize when their passions are being manipulated. Even the high nobility are forbidden from pulling or pushing the emotions of an obligator. You are what caused that obligator to send for an inquisitor. Pray the creature never catches your trail again, lass. Which is crazy. And then they just say that they don't know a lot of stuff about the Inquisitors. And then here was a dope part. Vin sat uncomfortably for a moment. Eventually, Kelsier nodded to her mug of ale. You aren't drinking. You might have slipped something in it, Vin said. Oh, there was no need for me to sneak something into your drink, Kelsier said with a smile, pulling an object out of his suit pocket. After all, you're going to drink this vial of mysterious liquid quite willingly. My margin, yet again, I love this guy. I love this guy, bro. Like, he is such a... Like... Who is he like? Like, I can't put my finger on it. He's kind of like Rick from Rick and Morty. He's a little Rickish. I'm not gonna lie. If I told you it, oh, and then she's like, "What is it?" And he's like, "If I told you, it wouldn't be mysterious." Doxson rolls his eyes. The vial is filled with an alcohol solution with some flakes of metal. With some metal? 2 of the 8 basic metals. We need to do some tests. She's like, you drink half first, I'll drink the other half. You're a bit on the paranoid side. And my margin is that she's very street smart because she's like, shake it up first so you can get some of the sediment. And then he shakes the vial, drinks some of it, and then he puts it back on the table. Vin frowned. Then she eyed Kelsier, who smiled. He knew that he had her. He had shown off his power, had tempted her with it. The only reason to be subservient to those with power is that you can learn to someday take what they have. Reen's words. Bruh, he's like a rogue Jedi. He's like a rogue Jedi. And then she just downs it. And she's like, wow, how anticlimactic. And she frowns, leaning back in her chair. And then she felt at her luck. And her eyes widened in shock. A storage of power incredible, so incredible that it stretched her understanding. Before, she had needed to be a scrimp with her luck. Now, she felt like a starving woman invited to a high nobleman's feast. Vin reached out, tentatively touching her newfound mass of luck. She took a bit and directed it at Kelsier. Beautiful wordplay right here. And this is the thing that I said I was going to touch on when I got to it later. And that is the fact that Brandon Sanderson's wordplay right here is beautiful. She reached out, tentatively touching her newfound luck, took a bit of it, and directed it at Kelsier. Oh, I just love that. I just love that. I love it so much. And then he says, now the real test. Can you inflame it too? Vin reached for her source of luck, and she had first interpreted as one massive power source was actually 2 different sources of power. There were different types of luck. He said 8. What do the others do? And then we get a little dope right here. We get a little lore dump. High noblemen only have access to a single allomantic skill. Those who can only perform allomancy in one of its 8 aspects are called mistings. Sometimes these abilities appear in Ska, but only if that Ska has noble blood in his or her ancestry. You can usually find one misting in about 10,000 mixed breeds. The better and the closer the noble ancestry, the more likely the Ska is to be a misting. Then we also find out that her mother tried to kill her, and then her father was a high prelin in the Steel Ministry, which is crazy. More lore. Mistings only have access to one allomantic skill. Vin proves that she has access to 2. If she has access to 2 of the 8, then she has access to the rest as well. If you're an allomancer, you either get 1 skill or you get them all. You, Vin, are what is generally called a Mistborn, and I've only met 1 other Ska Mistborn in my entire life. And that is crazy. And then we end it on yet another banger. You have a power that most high noblemen envy. A power that if you had been born an aristocrat, it would have made you one day the most deadly and influential person in all of the empire. But you weren't born an aristocrat, and you're not noble, so you don't have to play by their rules, and that makes you even more powerful. Damn, son. Damn, son. I'm not gonna lie. Chapter 3 was like one of my favorite chapters because I loved being able to get the magic system, to get the world building of the lore, to find out more about Vin, find out more about Kelsier, and, you know, all of that stuff. We didn't find out a lot about them, but in this chapter, it was really the one that was like, hell yeah. And again, this is where I felt like the credits could have rolled at the end of an anime. Like, this could be like, you know, you know what I mean? Like, this is roll credits, bro. Like this is that part for show. And I loved it. I loved it. I loved chapter 3, man. Like, chapter 3 was just really solid for me. Let me know how you guys felt about chapter 3 in the comments section down below.
Let's just say I've only met one other Scar Mistborn in my entire life. Somehow the room seemed a special person. You have a power that most high noblemen inherently. The next stage of my quest will take us up into the highlands of Terrace. Would have made you one of the most deadly and influential people in all of the final empire. Kelsier leaned forward again.
Okay. Let's see. I would say invincible means you can't die, period. Okay. What's the point of differentiating if he's been ruling for a millennia? Because if there is a way to kill him, then, you know, he's not actually invincible. Most of the people that are said to be invincible aren't really invincible. Like, not a lot of them have actually been shown to be invincible. There's always like one thing that can kill them, like a freaking something. Some of them can be killed, but you got to keep their body parts away from each other in order for them to stay dead. Shout out to Vampire Diaries. Yeah. By the way, do you think what do you think of these chapter headings? Are they journal entries? Yes, I do believe that they're journal entries, and they're either OG journal entries from the Lord Ruler, new journal entries from Reen, or they're from I don't think they're from Kelsier, but I think that it's possible. But I really, really think that they're the Lord Ruler's OG journal entries. Excuse me. Ulif wasn't a friend. Great judge of character. I don't need friends. They disappoint me. Facts. Honestly, this near constant assessment of what stranger is gonna harass me is not far off from the real world. The mall was treacherous as a teenager. Damn. I think it tells you a lot about his character by saying he left it hanging. Yes. I understand what you're saying. I agree with that. I believe that it does add on to the narrative of what's going on because he purposefully said the thing the way to make them think a thing a certain way. It's not just the way it's worded. I think doing it that way informs Kel's character to the reader. I agree. I find this concept of the world of the Lord Ruler very intriguing. Most conquerors never get to the point of ruling and wouldn't enjoy ruling if they did. Ruling is a completely different skill set from conquering. Yes. Yet, the conqueror has ruled for a millennia. What does he do? How does he spend his free time? Yeah, that's a really good question that I also was curious about when finding out there are so many like things going on, you know, like all the cantons and the obligators and inquisitors, like all these people are doing jobs in their own right. So like what is the Lord Ruler doing? Yo, deep cut and a little bit of a spoiler if you don't know about Full Metal Alchemist, but I'm getting Edward's dad's vibes from this. You know what I mean? I'm getting father vibes from the Lord Ruler. Like you know what I mean? He is a philosopher's stone. Like all that crap. You know what I mean? He finally picked up crochet as a hobby. He was putting it off for like 300 years. Nah, that's crazy. Yo, Luthadel legacy citizens. Cayman was right to blame Vin for bringing down the Inquisitors. Well, not necessarily. I mean, she did do it unmeaningly to did that. But bro was more saying that it was part of a trap. Like she was like purposefully bringing him down, and she did it accidentally. So like, yeah, he was kind of right, but really he was wrong. Kelsier's natural charisma is insane. He's hilarious. He rolled stupid high charisma stats. Facts. He's like Spike from Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, for real, for real, for real. Yes, and also on that spot, and also on that thought, like Jet from Atla. Oh yeah, yeah. Jet had a little bit more of like a brooding thing to him though. Like you know, his brooding was, you know, that. His brooding was his charisma. That's what I'm trying to say. As for like Kelsier's charisma is being charismatic. Jet, who was also like Spike. I believe Spike inspired Jet. Oh. I mean, the character design makes me think yes, right down to the straw Nickelodeon substitute for cigarette. I guess that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Also, tragic ending. It was very unclear. Oh yeah, R.I.P. Jet. I thought they actually outright said it in an interview. Oh, maybe they did. I only got into Avatar a few years ago when it hit Netflix. I saw a few episodes when I was a kid, but I got too busy. But I got busy with school. Oh yeah, because you were like what, just early 30s when Avatar came out. Um, I see. I watched it when I was a kid, but I saw it as it aired. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I watched it every week, yo, when it came on, like season after season. Watched the like those commercials, like the whole vibe. Running to the bathroom at the commercials, being hyped off of it, being so furious when we just get a filler episode. Like, bruh, damn, yo, no way this just happened in this episode. Like, I remember feeling like that about stuff. Like, bro, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Chapter 3 sets your appetite so much. The reveal makes yeah. Chapter 3 sets your appetite so much. The reveal makes singles out Vin as special And I think makes the reader feel special too because we're in on it now. Yeah, hell yeah to Sarlin. What a beautiful way to put that. I could not agree more. I could not agree more. It's like we found out the secret thing that not a lot of people know. You know what I mean? It's like, holy shit, she's the Avatar. You know what I'm saying? The early reveal reminds me of Harry Potter. You're a Mistborn, Harry. Yeah, for real. It is kind of like that. It is kind of like you're a Mistborn, Harry. It's like all of those vibes. Like, it felt a little. It did feel a little. You're a Mistborn, Harry, but it also felt very like Obi-Wan meets Luke. You know what I mean? It's like very. What was bro's name? Hagrid. It's very Hagrid mixed with Obi-Wan, mixed with Darth Maul. You know what I mean? Because he's definitely a little evil. You know? Like, yeah. But I can't be a Mistborn. I'm just Vin. You're hella funny. Jet and that village and Kelsier and the prologue are the same picture. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But Jet didn't want to evacuate. You know what I'm saying? he was gonna kill all the Ska too. Bruh, I graduated in 2007. How old do you think I am? Older than the MCU. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Older than the MCU. The government is actually oppressing you this time, Marisu. Nah, not even. Not even. Not even, yo. Cap. I call Cap. And now, it's time for the final portion of the reading tonight. Let's review Chapter 4. Oh, shit.
Apparently, the next stage of my quest will take us up into the highlands of Terrace. This is said to be a cold, unforgiving place, a land where the mountains themselves are made of ice. Our normal attendance will not do for such a trip. We should probably hire some Terrace packmen to carry our gear. 4. You heard what he said. He's planning a job. Eulif's eyes shone with excitement. I wonder which of the great houses he's going to strike. It'll be one of the most powerful ones, said Diston, one of Cayman's head pointmen. He was missing a hand, but his eyes and ears were among the keenest in the crew. Kelsier never bothers himself with small-time jobs. Vin sat quietly, her mug of ale, the same one Kelsier had given her, still sitting mostly full on the tabletop. Her table was crowded with people. Kelsier had let the thieves return to their home for a bit before his meeting began. Vin, however, would have preferred to remain by herself. Life with Reen had accustomed her to loneliness. If you let someone get too close, it would just give them better opportunities to betray you. Even after Reen's disappearance, Vin had kept to herself. She hadn't been willing to leave. However, she also hadn't felt the need to become familiar with the other crew members. They had, in turn, been perfectly willing to let her alone. Vin's position had been precarious, and associating with her could have tainted them by association. Only Eulif had made any moves to befriend her. If you let someone get close to you, it will only hurt you more when they betray you, Reen seemed to whisper in her mind. Had Eulif even really been her friend? He'd certainly sold her out quickly enough. In addition, the crew members had taken Vin's beating and sudden rescue in stride, never mentioning their betrayal or refusal to help her. They'd only done what was expected. "A survivor hasn't bothered himself with any jobs lately," said Harmon, an older, scraggly bearded burglar. "He's barely been seen in Luthadel a handful of times during the last few years. In fact, he hasn't pulled any jobs since—" "This is the first one?" Yulov asked eagerly. "The first since he escaped the pits? Then it's bound to be something spectacular." "Did he say anything about it, Vin?" Diston asked. "Vin?" He waved a stumpy arm in her direction, catching her attention. "What?" she asked, looking up.
Stumpy arm is diabolical.
She had cleaned herself slightly since her beating at Cayman's hand, finally accepting a handkerchief from Dachshund to wipe the blood from her face. There was little she could do about the bruises, however. Those still throbbed. Hopefully nothing was broken. "Kelsier," Diston repeated. "Did he say anything about the job he's planning?" Vin shook her head. She glanced down at the bloodied handkerchief. Kelsier and Dachshund had left a short time ago, promising to return after she'd had some time to think about the things they had told her. There was an implication in their words, however, an offer. Whatever job they were planning, she was invited to participate. "Why'd he pick you to be his twixt anyway, Vin?" Yulov asked. "Did he say anything about that?" That's what the crew assumed, that Kelsier had chosen her to be his contact with Cayman's, Mylev's crew. There were two sides to the Luthadel underground. There were the regular crews like Cayman's, then there were...
Okay. Who... Okay. Who is the narrator? Is the narrator a person? I know that's a stupid question to ask, but is the narrator somebody that is retelling events that have happened? And is that whose journal entries it are? Because for the narrator to get a name wrong and correct themselves, it's the watcher. You know what I mean? Like, it's the watcher. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
The special ones. Groups composed of the extremely skillful, the extremely foolhardy, or the extremely talented. Allomancers. The two sides of the underworld didn't mix. Regular thieves left their betters alone. However, occasionally one of these misting crews hired a regular team to do some of its more mundane work, and they would choose a twixt, a go-between, to work with both crews. Hence Yulov's assumption about Vin.
Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's not a bad thing to assume. You know?
Even accept Vin after a relatively short time. It couldn't be genuine. No one could survive in the underworld following such tactics. Still, their friendliness was disconcerting. 2 years, said Rudd, a flat-faced, quiet thug. He must have spent the entire time planning for this job. It must be some job indeed, Yulov said. Tell me about him, Vin said quietly. Kelsier? Diston asked. Vin nodded. They didn't talk about Kelsier down south?
I love Kramer doing
Vin
this.
shook her head.
But man,
He was
I'd
the
give my
best
left
crew leader in
testicle to
Luthadel,
hear,
Yulov
Rosamund
explained.
Pike do this book,
A
I'm not
legend,
gonna lie.
even among the Mistings. He robbed some of the wealthiest great houses in the city. And, Vin asked. Someone betrayed him, Harmon said in a quiet voice. Of course, Vin thought. The Lord Ruler himself caught Kelsier, Yulov said. Sent Kelsier and his wife to the pits of Hathsin. But he escaped. He escaped from the pits, Vin. He's the only one who ever has. And the wife? Vin asked. Ulif glanced at Harmon, who shook his head. She didn't make it. So he's lost someone too. How can he laugh so much? So honestly? That's where he got those scars, you know, Diston said. The ones on his arms. He got them at the pits, from the rocks on a sheer wall he had to climb to escape. Harmon snorted. That's not how he got them. He killed an Inquisitor while escaping. That's where he got the scars. I heard he got them fighting one of the monsters that guard the pits, Ulif said. He reached into its mouth and strangled it from the inside. The teeth scraped his arms.
Legend.
Diston frowned.
Whoa.
How do you strangle someone from the inside? Ulif shrugged. That's just what I heard. The man isn't natural, Rudd muttered. Something happened to him in the pits.
Bruh.
Something bad. He wasn't an Allomancer before then, you know. He entered the pits a regular Scar. And now, well, he's a misting for sure. If he's even human anymore. Been out in the mists a lot, that one has. Some say that the real Kelsier is dead. That the thing wearing his face is something else. Harmon shook his head.
Bruh.
Now that's just plantation Scar foolishness. We've all gone out in the mists. Not in the mists outside the city, Rudd insisted. The mist wraiths are out there. They'll grab a man and take his face sure as the Lord Ruler. Harmon rolled his eyes. Rudd's right about one thing, Diston said. That man isn't human. He might not be a mist wraith, but he's not Scar either. I've heard of him doing things like only they can do. The ones that come out at night. You saw what he did to Cayman. Mistborn, Harmon muttered. Mistborn. Vin had heard the term before Kelsier had mentioned it to her, of course. Who hadn't? Yet the rumors about Mistborn made stories of Inquisitors and Mistings seem rational. It was said that Mistborn were heralds of the mists themselves, endowed with great powers by the Lord Ruler. Only high noblemen could be Mistborn. They were said to be a secret sect of assassins who served him, only going out at night. Reen had always taught her that they were a myth, and Vin had assumed he was right. And Kelsier says I, like he himself, am one of them. How could she be what he said? Child of a prostitute, she was nobody. She was nothing. Never trust a man who tells you good news, Reen had always said. It's the oldest but easiest way to con someone. Yet she did have her luck, her allomancy. She could still sense the reserves Kelsier's vial had given her, and had tested her powers on the crew members. No longer limited to just a bit of luck a day, she found she could produce far more striking effects. Vin was coming to realize that her old goal in life, simply staying alive, was uninspired. There was so much more she could be doing. She had been a slave to Reen, she had been a slave to Cayman. She would be a slave to this Kelsier, too, if it would lead her to eventual freedom.
Crazy. Crazy. If it would lead her to freedom. Like, bruh. Cooking. Like, the cook is crazy. The cook is actually diabolical. Like, not gonna lie. It says, overall, she had, wait. Here we go. Everybody leaves and the new people come through, right? And new guy comes in and he's like, this must be our Twixt. Has Kelsier arrived yet, my dear? Suddenly, despite herself, Vin found herself liking, this well-dressed, articulate man. Though overalls and a work shirt had always suited her, she suddenly wished that she owned something nicer. This man's very bearing seemed to demand a more formal atmosphere. And then he basically tries to make he makes Vin go and this is funny too. He's like the suited man says, "I sure could use something to drink." And she's like, "Let me go get you something." Immediately I was like, why is she doing that? You know what I mean? I was like, what's going on? And then Ham's like, "Breeze," the soldier said with a warning tone as Vin selected a bottle of Cayman's most expensive wine and began pouring a cup. Vin paused, wine half poured, and frowned slightly. What am I doing? Just because you can push someone doesn't mean you should, Breeze. Vin stood, dumbfounded. He used luck on me. When Kelsier had tried to manipulate her, she'd felt his touch and had been able to resist. This time, however, she hadn't even realized what she was doing. She looked up at the man, thinning her eyes. Mistborn. No, I am just an ordinary, humble misting. This dude made me think of, Varen? Is that his name? Varen? That's who this guy made me think of immediately. And then Breeze, who reminds me of Varen, mind you, he starts teaching her immediately. He's like, I pushed on your emotions, actually. Pulling makes a person less trusting and more determined. Pushing on emotions, soothing them, makes a person more trusting. Regardless, you controlled me. You made me fetch you a drink. I wouldn't say that I made you do it, Breeze said. I just altered your emotions slightly, putting you in a frame of mind where you'd be more likely to do as I wish. Ham rubs his chin. I don't know, Breeze. It's an interesting question. By influencing her emotions, did you take away her ability to choose? Bruh, I was rolling. I was like, okay, Ham and Breeze, I'm loving them already, yo. And they of course go back and forth for a little while, having their questions, answers are given. Vin goes back into, back to hiding in the shadows. And then Vin asks Ham, "Are you a misting too?" He says, "I'm a thug. I burn pewter." He can make himself stronger by burning pewter. He hits things, and Bree says he hits things, particularly other people, who try to interfere with what the rest of us are doing. There's much more to it than that. I run general security for jobs, providing my crew leader with manpower and warriors, assuming such are necessary. I like that Ham likes his job and takes that shit seriously. I'm here for it already. I'm here for it. And then we kind of get a breakdown of all of the different allomantic powers and how they kind of work. We find out that a smoker basically hides the scent or hides the energy levels of the mistborns and mistings. Oh, and then Bruh calls her a crumb, which I thought was crazy. And then Ham's like, "Yeah, they call you crumbs because you tend to involve yourself with less inspired projects." Oh, shit, son. Bruh, everybody was just going in. And then I love how she plays the room because she's like, "They assume I'm a twixt, and I'm not going to correct them." Everyone else comes through the door. They're all waiting. And then the Mistborn crew leader burst through the door with his cheery enthusiasm. Vin had to admit that she had never seen any crew leader welcomed so happily by his men. "Doxson and I were visiting my brother," Kelsier explains. He's like, and then Ham is like, "Your brother? Is Marsh coming to the meeting?" not tonight. Which I just like that. Breeze says, you've kept this job secret from us for 8 months now, which kind of does confirm what the other crew was kind of talking about earlier, with Kelsier has possibly been planning this basically since he escaped, and or while he was escaping, he was planning. You know what I mean? Oh, and then Yeadon it shows that Yeadon is the one that's the employer, and we find out that Yeadon Yeadon is low key like Magneto in a way, because he's like, hey, bruh, like y'all y'all think you're better than the rest of us, but you're still Ska like we are, but you ain't gonna fight for our cause. So you really ain't no better than us, but you got your nose in the air like you're better than us, but you're not gonna do anything to free the rest of us. Which I hella feel that. Like I agree. I agree. I agree, Yeaton. They ain't shit, bro. But Breeze is like, I was under the strange impression that you didn't like our types very much. And then Yeadon says flatly, you're selfish, undisciplined, turned your backs on the rest of the Ska. You dress nicely, but on the inside, you're dirty as ash. I love when in-universe terms are used in these types of ways. And I love when in-universe terms are used in similes and metaphors. Makes me very happy. Yeah, and then it tells us that Yeadon was obviously a Ska worker, and then we get the mention and confirmation of Yeadon being the leader of the Ska rebellion. And then this is where we kind of get a little bit of understanding of what the underworld is going on from Vin's point of view. Ska Rebellion, Vin thought, a piece of the conversation falling into place. There were two sides to the underworld. The far larger portion was made up of thieves, crews, whores, and beggars who tried to survive outside of the mainstream Ska culture. And then there were rebels, the people who worked against the final empire. Reen had always called them fools, a sentiment shared by most of the people, both underworlders and regular Ska, that Vin had met. Bruh, so we are just cooking left, right, up, and down. I just loved it. And now we start getting all of the details of the mission, of the heist. Yeadon has hired us to supply him with an army, then provide him with a favorable opportunity to seize control of the city. The job is the destruction of the final empire. Yeadon began to laugh, saying that now that I hear it out loud, it sounds much more ridiculous. But Kelsier says that the rebellion condemns people like us because of our greed, but for all their high morals, which, by the way, I respect, they never get anything done. Yeadon, your men hide in the woods and in hills, plotting how they'll someday rise up against and lead a war against the final empire. But your kind has no idea how to develop or execute a plan. And Yeadon immediately takes offense to this. And then Kelsior immediately puts him in his place, dropping fail after fail after fail. The massacre of Tugir three centuries ago, where 7,000 Ska rebels were slaughtered, the occasional raid of a traveling canal boat, or the kidnapping of a minor noble official. That's all we can do. Is basically what he says, yo. And I love that. And then we also get that another building block. The Ska have been beaten down for millennium. They don't have any spirit left in them. It's difficult enough to get 1 in 1,000 to listen, let alone rebel. Peace, Yeadon, Kelsier said, holding up a hand. I'm not trying to insult your courage. We're on the same side, remember? You came to me specifically because you were having trouble recruiting people for your army. Like, bruh, cooking. We're just cooking. And then I love how Vin's like, Brad, there's no way this is it. There's just no way that this is what's happening. There's no way this is the reason why this is happening. We don't know something. And then they find out that they're going to be doing everything for 30,000 boxings, and they're like, it is not enough. And then Yeaton snaps, no use haggling now, thief. 30,000 may not sound like much to your type, but it's the result of decades of saving on our part. We can't pay you more because we don't have anything more. I'm like, damn, Yeaton is standing on bitterness. Yeaton is standing on business. And then another section that I just really loved right here, the Lord Ruler's Treasury. The plan as it stands now is to provide Yeaton with an army and an opportunity to seize the city. Once he takes the palace, he'll capture the treasury and use its funds to secure power. And central to that treasury is the Lord Ruler's ATM, Breeze said. Kelsier nodded. Our agreement with Yeaton promises us half of the ATM reserves we find in the palace. No matter how vast they may be, ATM is a metal that's just incredibly rare and supposedly used only by noblemen. The ATM stockpile is supposed to be enormous, they say, and that the Lord Ruler sells the metal in small bits and charges outrageous sums to the nobility, so he keeps a huge reserve of it to basically control the market. He's controlling the market by having the sum of the thing, setting the price for the thing, and selling it super high. Let's go. We're cooking, yo. I'm loving the politics as well that are getting dropped in here and there. I just love it, yo. The plan is simple. We're going to find a way to neutralize the Luthadel garrison, leave the area open without a police force. We're going to throw the city into chaos, and then Yeaton will march his army into Luthadel, seize the palace, take the Lord Ruler prisoner, and then while Yeaton secures the city, we'll piffer the ATM, give half to them, and disappear with the other half. Smooth, quick, fast, in a hurry. That's, of course, not nearly going to be as easy as it sounds, but hey. For my men, this isn't just about riches. It isn't even about surviving. My guy Yeaton is the guy. Bruh. Bruh said, my guy Yeaton, bruh, he's like, bro, for my people, this isn't just about riches. It isn't even about surviving. It's about doing something grand, something wonderful to give the sky hope. But I don't expect you people to understand things like that. Bruh, my boy Yeaton is Malcolm. He's playing no games. He's a Malcolm X for show, bruh. He's playing 0 games. Bruh, what? And then they all just start being like, yo, you're forgetting about this, you're forgetting about that. What do we do if this happens, if that happens? And he's like, yo, we'll find a way to deal with that. Like, the things he doesn't have an answer for, he doesn't have an answer for them, and that's just it. I love that. He's not like, he's just like, hey, we'll figure out what's going on with that, you know? Like, we have we'll figure how to deal with the Inquisitors. Don't worry. And then the whole time, he's not even letting them know that they have a Mistborn on their side. Like, what? If we play this right, we might be able to force the Lord Ruler to send the Palace Guard, maybe even the Inquisitors, into the city to restore order. That will leave the palace exposed, giving Yeaton a perfect opportunity to strike. After that, it won't matter what happens with the ministry or the garrison. The Lord Ruler won't have the money to maintain control of his empire. And then we get even more, right here, man. W reveal right here. The Lord Ruler got that ATM somewhere. What if he just goes and mines it somewhere else? No one even knows where the ADM mine is. I wouldn't say no one, Kelsier says with a smile. Breeze and Ham shared a look. You know? Of course. I spent a year of my life working there. The pits? That's why the Lord Ruler makes certain nobody survives working there. He can't afford to let his secret out. It's not just a penal colony, not just a hellhole where Ska are sent to die. It's a mine. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And it's like, it's low-key seated there for that to be the thing that it is, but you don't know because you don't even know what Atium is. So by the time they bring up Atium, you're not even thinking about the pits being, some mine. You're not really thinking about that to try to connect those dots. You're just kind of like, oh, okay, Atium. And then it's like, but it is kind of like, bro, wait a minute, do they get that from there? And then it's like, bro, the pits, yo. And it's like, yo, holy shit. The pits nearly killed him, he says, yo. And then the rebellion fails because it's too unwieldy and spread out. Anytime one of its pieces gains momentum, the Steel Ministry crushes it. A small team, specialized and highly skilled, has a hope. We can do this. I don't know, Kel. I know it sounds wild, but you're going to go along with it anyway, aren't you? Ham paused, then nodded. Yo, let's go, bro. I'm like, yeah, buddy. We are cooking right now. Like, yo. Like, bruh, cooking. Let's see. Oh, and they're like, bro, what are you really planning, Kelsier? And he's like, if I'm being honest, I plan to take the Lord Ruler's Atium and overthrow his empire. You can't. It's idiocracy. The Inquisitors will hang us all by hooks on our throats. He's like, yeah, but if we succeed, the wealth, the power, and we can change the entire dynamic of the world. Club snorted. He's like, yo, the Lord Ruler tried to kill you once, and I see you won't be satisfied until he gets it right. And then Yeaton's like, you're just gonna let him go? He knows everything. Like, bro. That's just comedy, bro. He was like, yo, he knows everything. We have to murder him, brother. We have to. Like, that shit had me rolling. Yo. Okay. And then... Oh, and then Kelsier drops the reveal of Vin. And he's like, yo, he's talking about how he's known about her for a few months. And he's like, yeah, she's a Mistborn. And they're like, yo, a second Mistborn on the team. Well, that increases our chances somewhat. And then, here we go. What are you saying, Yeaton sputtered. Ska can't be Mistborn. I'm not even sure if Mistborn exist. I've certainly never met one. Breeze raised an eyebrow, then laid a hand on Yeaton's shoulder. You should try not to talk so much, friend. You'll sound far less stupid that way. Bruh, I love this book. There's so much, like, again, I was not ready for all of the humor that was going around. They're like, yo, oh, and then he's like, oh yeah, one more thing. They're like, there's more? Stealing the Lord Ruler's fortune and overthrowing him isn't enough? Nah, if I can, I'm gonna kill him too. The Lord Ruler is the silver of Wait, this is one of the hardest things too out of this chapter right here. The Lord Ruler is the sliver of infinity. He's a piece of God himself. You can't kill him. Even capturing him will probably prove impossible. Bruh. Cooking. The Lord Ruler and I, Kelsier said quietly, we have an unsettled debt. He took Mare from me, and he nearly took my own sanity as well. I'll admit to you, all that part of my reason for this plan is to get revenge on him. We're going to take his government, his home, and his fortune. Like, damn. For that to work, we'll have to get rid of him. Perhaps imprison him in his own dungeons at the very least. We'll have to get him out of this city. However, I can think of something far better than either option. Down those pits where he sent me, I snapped and came to an awakening of my elementic powers. Now, I intend to use them to kill him. In the north, they have a legend. It teaches that the Lord Ruler isn't immortal. Not completely. They say he can be killed with the right metal. The 11th metal. That metal. Allomantic theory teaches of 10 metals, the 8 basic metals, and the 2 high metals. There is another one, however, known to most. One far more powerful even than the other 10. And this metal can somehow kill the Lord Ruler. It's his weakness. In the north, in a land near the far peninsula, a land where people still remember what their old kingdom was called in the days before Ascension. Like dropping crazy lore. Dropping crazy lore. Kill the Lord Ruler? The Lord Ruler was a force, like the winds or the mists. One did not kill such things. They didn't live, really. They simply were. Killing the Lord Ruler is my task, Kelsier says. Like, bruh. If it proves impossible, we'll settle for tricking him outside of the city and robbing him silly. Like, I've bound myself to a madman, Vin thought with resignation. But that didn't really matter. Not as long as he taught her allomancy. Like, what? Let's go. W. Like, what a W way to just start off the series. Start off these chapters and just be completely, ready for everything that's to come for the rest of this amazing series of Reading Wednesday. Let's check out the chat and see how everybody was feeling. I'm older than Google. Damn. Ulif, what a punk. Facts. Brandon Sanderson will give you information about the world and the magic, but not the narrator. Like, I'm like, bro, hold on. Kelsier literally embodies the man, the myth, the legend. Very true. He does embody the man, the myth, the legend, basically perfectly. Like, that is who he is. Like, that is who he is for sure. Kelsier used force choke. It was effective. Nah, it was super effective though. Um, Again, compulsion, creepy. Facts. I love Breeze. We could do boozy brunch together. All right. It is a little creepy. Hey, but he could get us to eat for free. Yeah, that's true. Marsu. Marsu said, "Fuck questionable. I don't want to be anywhere near this dude." He's called Ham for how. Marisu, come on. What are we doing? Marisu, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing here, Marisu? It's questionable, so I would ask the questions over a free boozy brunch at a rooftop restaurant downtown. That's insane. Oh no. Charisse, don't tell him. Marisu, he's gonna know. I couldn't help it. Nah, that's hilarious. Yo, that's crazy. He's called Ham for how he like. That's so cheesy. The crew interactions are definitely a highlight. Yeah, I really like that, yo. Loved it. I know you haven't met Marsh yet, but he is a personal favorite of mine. Very Ocean's 11. I like Marsh quite a bit too. Oh yeah, he sounds cool. He sounds dope so far, and it does feel very Ocean's 11. You know what it feels like? Let me show you. Whoa. This is what it feels like. Feels like this right here. Oh, nope. What the hell? What just happened? Oh. What the hell?
Heist?
Heist. 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 Like, bro, that's comedy. I'm a sucker for siblings and their relationships. Noise. Like Inuyasha and Sesshomaru. Oh, okay. Plan to have a plan, and here I admit to the black mark on my anime record, I have not watched the classic Inuyasha. Facts, I have not either. It is long, but I love the characters so much. I just like spending time with them, kind of like Wheel of Time. No, okay, nice. I don't know how Brandon manages to keep ending chapters on these highs. Facts, like whoa. Always gay. Always have an NDA. What? That's crazy work. Better to be silent and have people wonder if you're stupid than to open your mouth and confirm it. Hey, Marisu, I still see that comment even though you redacted it, just so you know. Just so you know. Kelsier thinks his sanity is only nearly gone. Bro wants to 10v1 a literal god who has been ruling for 1,000 years. Bruh, nah, he really wants to 1v1 that man. He said, nah, leave him to me. Y'all just gotta worry about the heist. I'll worry about killing him. Like, bro, what? Bruh, that's crazy. He didn't even finish the sentence. Taxed. I like how I can tell how mad he is by the tax amount. I guess that's true. I got a 7. You did get a 750 once. But what you said was just so, it was just so cheesy. Like it was just like, bruh, come on, Marisu, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Wait, what? Oh. Yeah. Yo. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what she said either, but it was something ridiculously out of pocket. Like, I think that one was because what she said was cringe, out of pocket, and cheesy. It was like the trifecta, and I was like, nah, bruh. Like, nah, I can't let that one slide, Marisu. Not that one. But I think the thing has been, it's been agreed upon. If it's funny, I won't tax her. She might even get a, what's it called? She might even get some taxes back, I guess. Because not only do you have to pay taxes, but you also, you can get your taxes back as well. Yo, I'm trying to make a little list of things to give away for the point for Marvel Bucks as well. So we need to know. I need to know. Help me know. I don't remember. I make it up on the fly. Inuyasha is the perfect classic shonen and classic shoujo mix. A huge heap of actual Japanese folklore. Ooh, that's dope. I think one of the reasons this book works so well so far is the story has constant momentum. We are just going. Yeah, to Sarlin, I agree. I think I said that earlier on before you had got here, but I 100% agree with that, right? Like, we hit the ground and we just start running. We just run. Like, and it just does not stop. Like we just keep moving and just moving and moving and moving. Like, we legit just are going, and I don't know when it's gonna stop. Like, it hasn't stopped yet. It hasn't stopped yet. So I don't know when it will. But hey, if it, whenever it does slow down, I'm very interested in how that is handled and what happens. I mean, even in these slower parts like we just ended with, like, that could be said to be a slow part, but there's so much stuff happening right there. Like, it just definitely is overwhelming. It is just definitely overwhelming with all of the stuff that, all the stuff that's going on around it. Like, whoa. And I love it. It's a love story disguised as a shonen. It's a feudal fairy tale. Yo. Kelsier is wildin' for respect, though. Yeah, I agree. It was I must ask you a question. Bro, yeah, I forget. That was a... Yeah. I remember that. No, that one was, that one was bad. But, yo, man, I really enjoyed the reading. What the hell? I really enjoyed the reading this week for chapters 1 through 4 of Mistborn: The Final Empire, book 1 of the Mistborn series. That I also think is called Stormlight Archive? Is that right? Did I say that right? No, Stormlight Archive is the Way of Kings, huh? I don't know, yo. I'm not well versed in the cosmere yet, so my bad. But Yeah, man, I really enjoyed the reading this week, yo. I can't wait to see what next week's reading is gonna be like, and I'm so happy that we get like one extra chapter. Chapter, one extra chapter. I don't know what the hell is happening to me right now. I think I'm falling asleep while I'm just sitting here. But we get that one extra chapter, if I'm not mistaken, because next week it's 5 to 8, right, or 5 to 9. No, it's 5 to 8 because chapter 9 is in part 2. Maybe my math is wrong. Yeah, my math is wrong. I'm tripping. So we get those 4 chapters again next week. So that's solid. I did want an extra chapter though, but I am just so interested in knowing what's gonna happen next. I'm so happy that I get to, kind of just continue on with the story. You know what I mean? And just see what's gonna be going on. I definitely want to make it available to you guys to kind of join me when I'm actually reading. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing that on TikTok. I might, just like go live on TikTok and actually like go over the entire thing, if you know what I'm saying, and I kind of partake in the entirety of the book club stuff, and then possibly, get it popping for next week stuff as well. Let's see. Sensei, do you have any predictions? I really have no friggin' clue because next week we could go on like a training montage for her, or we could start doing something else. I don't know. And again, this book is moving like a movie, so we don't have to like. We're not with them until they go to sleep and then they wake up in the morning and then you know what I mean? Like it's not a play by play in the book by any means. So we could start off tomorrow and they're on their way to get the first freaking thing, because as like this is obviously a heist plot, and as most heists go, they will have to collect multiple things in order to do the heist, right? So I am counting on the majority of this book being them collecting items for said thing, and then also training Vin at the same time. And then of course we have each of our titular characters that play a very significant role within the story, so all of that's going on. I don't know what it's gonna happen next. I don't know if we're gonna just go to the meeting next, or if we're gonna go do another mini heist, or if a character is gonna show up, or what. I'm not sure what the hell is gonna happen, but I like it. I like everything that's going on. I'm hyped for it. It's pretty solid. The freaking Inquisitors or something might show up there because let's be honest, that's where they all went anyway. Like, they did distract them so no one would know that they went to that building and all, but the Inquisitors still might pull up or something. It might get crazy. So, yeah, those are kind of some of my predictions for next week. We finished part 1. This is written like a play, divided into acts and scenes. Yeah, which is insane. It's kind of insane how that's happening. Any theories? Yeah. Again, my theory is now that whoever the narrator is also the person whose journal is going on at the time, like that we're reading or whatever. Well, no, I'm lying. The narrator, my two theories are the person that does the journal is the Lord Ruler, and then the narrator is a actual person as well. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an actual person as well. So those are my two theories that I have right now. Is the heist a full book plot, or will something go terribly wrong? Okay, how far are we in this right now? Wait. Wow, I did that to the exact page because I'm built different. Okay. We're about this far in the book. So I think like the next half, possibly. I don't know though. Everything moves so quickly, bro. I really have no idea. But what my brain is telling me that for the next half of the book, we're gonna be spending time with the characters, going to the places that we need to go to acquire the things that we need to acquire in order to do the job that we need to do. You know what I mean? That's kind of like that's what I feel like this chunk is. That's what I feel like this chunk is gonna be about right here. Like I think this chunk is gonna be about them finding the stuff, locking in with other characters, maybe people betraying them. Betrayal is an obvious plot point that will come up at some point. I mean, it's already come up within the first 80 pages, so it will definitely come up again. And I am very excited for wherever direction we are able to go in for the foreseeable future of this series. And Marisu, come on with the spikes. The spikes. The spikes. The spikes. Spikes is crazy, yo. That's why you just got text. No words. No nothing. Especially because you like went out of your way to make that one happen. You know what I'm saying? You were looking for it. Like you were digging for it. You were digging for that shit. But I definitely appreciate all of you amazing, beautiful people for vibing out with me today while we talked about Mistborn chapters 1 through 5 of the Final Empire. I am so pumped to get into that next bits of information that we could get. I definitely hope everybody will be here next week at 5 p.m. PST when we will be covering chapters 5 through 8 for the Final Empire. You guys have been amazing. Shout out to Sarlin for being new around here. Shout out to you. I hope you're having a good day, and I definitely hope to see you again soon. And we were definitely happy to have you here. And I appreciate you all the amazing mods that was in the chat. Shout out to Sharice. Shout out to KP, of course, and you already know the wonderful Marisu, who does all of the amazing things around here and always tries to get that one laugh out of me. I think you did get that laugh out of me today, as you looked for, Marisu. You guys definitely jump in the Discord if you're not in there already. We have a Reading Wednesday tab now that I will be talking more in. I'll even talk about the reading in there right now. And then even if I'm reading or something like that and something happens, I might type in there and be like, yo, I'm on this chapter or whatever, and this just happened. Oh my goodness. And then we can also open threads for each chapter if we want to do it that way in the future or whatever, depending on how many people start joining in and how many people want to start yapping about it, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But if you haven't already, make sure you guys drop a like on the stream because it definitely helps out tremendously around here. And don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the content that we post. You can also follow us on social media at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with all things Marvel and everything pop culture. You can follow me on social media at Sensei Finito to stay up to date with all my thoughts, theories, and opinions on whatever particular thing I may be partaking in at that particular time. And of course, you can check out that weekly podcast wherever you check out your podcasts at, okay? I definitely appreciate y'all yet again. As I always say, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Stay awesome, stay nerdy, and don't forget to stay marvelous. Excelsior. Sleep well and wait.
If you guys would like to support Marv Bros, all you gotta do is visit our website at www.marvbros.com and buy some merch. Represent the superfan. Or you can join our Patreon to get early access to content, patron-only scoops, giveaways, private Q&As, and those sacred watch parties. We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you later. Excelsior.
On today's pop culture news update.
And on today's pop culture news update,
On today's pop culture news update,